That hurt.
I'm tuned in like crazy, and I'm pretending like I know what they're doing, and I'm,
Articulate and intelligent.
Gregg's a bitch. That's all.
I find them offensive as hell.
I've never been a fan.
Yeah, fuck that.
Terrible! Bad! Not bad!
Oh, pretty good.
Okay!
Decent.
Fair!
Great.
I loved it!
This sucks.
Yeah, you really gotta wonder how the stuff gets made.
Welcome to Straight Red Card. Today, of course, we're going to cover the whole Germany thing and then Gregg's interview afterwards. But we do have a new sponsor today, and that is Vaseline. Vaseline with cocoa butter healing jelly. This is new. Is this new or has this been around a while?
I mean, you're the Vaseline guy.
I know. I should know the product a little better. That smells weird. Cocoa butter. I don't know. That's kind of weird putting that on your wang. Putting that on the
makes
wang.
you just close your eyes and makes you feel like you're in the Caribbean, right?
Just pretend you're on a beach somewhere.
Yeah.
This does smell like that shit that you use suntan lotion with the cocoa stuff in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, buy that, I guess. I don't know. I think I would stick to the normal product.
Chris Gary's got a point there.
Vaseline, better than KY. At least I can buy Vaseline without looking suspicious. I don't know. What do you care? I mean, listen, also.
You can buy the Vaseline. Maybe it's for chapped lips. You never know.
Well, no, listen, you go to Myers, you go through the self-check through, right? Who cares?
Yeah, there's a big camera there as you KY boop, takes a picture of you.
I mean, if you're in the aisle where they got all the KY stuff and some big fat ladies in there with you, she's there for a reason too, right? Why have any hangups about it? Just grab the stuff you need and go.
Why'd you have to be big and fat?
I'm just saying, because a lot of people at Myers and Walmart are fat.
It's fair. I mean, it's fair enough.
I mean, listen, I was watching this old school video that somebody had put up, like our graduating year, 1986. And they had a video they put together for their class in 1986. I don't even know what high school it was, but I do know this. All of the boys and girls in that particular high school class were in great shape. Just like probably most of the people in your class were in great shape. And my class, 89, were in great shape. Then I have had high schoolers come to our particular facility to make the kits, life-saving Narcan. They're all fat. It's like 90% of the class are overweight. What are we doing? What are we doing to our kids right now? I mean, these 15, 16, 17-year-old kids should not be this overweight, but I guess they're all hanging out indoors. They don't go ride bikes or hang out or party.
It's probably I mean, hell, we survived the high fructose corn syrup shit.
We did, but that was all a lie by the sugar making community, the sugar conglomerates. They're like, oh, this is bad. This is bad, man. They're going to take over our business. Corn
syrup is bad.
It's not any worse for you than sugar. Because guess
what it is? I'm not saying that it isn't.
But it was what my point was. The sugar industry are the folks that went after the corn fructose guys. Even though they're both sugar, one comes from corn, it's corn sugar, and the other one's sugar from sugar cane. So yeah, it was a little devious of them to do that, but that's what they did because they felt like their market was shrinking, which it was. Once Coca-Cola started using high fructose corn syrup instead of real sugar, yeah, they were getting nervous that all the companies
go back to the day when they just put cocaine in instead.
Yeah, I think we had a discussion on that, but I don't think it ever really had like pure cocaine in it.
Well, they got everybody addicted to drinking it, and then they changed the formula, and it's good.
Joe Dem says, explains why my grandpa had crazy amounts of Vaseline now. Thanks. Because he liked cocoa butter? What? Did I miss the joke there, Brett? What was the joke there? Oh, that part. Well, yeah. I just don't know, like, after you're done with the act, that you want to walk around smelling like that. Even if you use a towel to wipe it off, I'm sure it just lingers. I mean, seriously, if you could smell this is a brand new canister. It's no good. Here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not good.
It's a new technology, guys. They had scratch and sniff stickers. Now it's a scratch and sniff monitors.
It's Smellocast.
Yeah.
Smellocast on a podcast. The turd in the background. Welcome back to the straight red card. Gio Reyna with the guidance of Gregg Berhalter scores a brace. And Flo Balogun learned from Gregg as well. Gregg has also taught my wife how to squirt. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Anyhow, I was having a discussion with this guy on Twitter about, he's a reporter that, you know, he's like, I can't, they won't let me ask a question anymore at the interview. And I was like, well, did you write some shit that could have offended them? He's U.S. soccer? Yeah, U.S. soccer. You know, they're really extremely sensitive. So I pointed out 2 topics to him that he probably wrote about that might have angered them. And well, lo and behold, he found those two articles and posted them up. And I'm like, yeah, that did it, dude. That's all it takes. You can't write an article that says rehiring Gregg was the worst mistake U.S. soccer ever made, and expect them not to know. They know everything. They watch everything. Michael Cameron keeps tabs, man. He's got a shit list. And if you're on the shit list, you're not being called up. I'm surprised Meg still gets to ask questions.
It's just Federation's a bunch of petty little bitches.
Although Meg was good about, you know, because he brought up Stephen Goff. And he's like, he seems to be a big favorite of theirs. I'm like, well, Stephen knows how to word a question in just the right way that sounds gentle, but he's trying to get what he wants anyhow, you know. But he knows how to like work the edges. Like, don't say ask anything. But he also works for one of the biggest papers in the world.
It also helps.
Yeah. AJ1410 blah 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 for $1.99. Asks, yeah, Soto is better than Jesus. We know. We'll find out more in the next Klagenfurt game now that he's back from injury.
Hey-o.
Klagenfurt. Snickerdoodle candles are back. Let's go. Snickerdoodle candles.
It's a seasonal thing.
Is it? But snickerdoodles are what, cookies, right?
Yep.
And they're candles?
Not much considered Halloween, but more Thanksgiving, Christmas era.
Okay. Not a Halloween thing.
No.
Yeah. Halloween's not what it used to be. You know? For like all of October, there'd be creepy shit all over the place. I'm sure you have that in some of your lawns in your neighborhood. Yeah. Right?
A few.
But it used to be everybody. Everybody like, oh shit, got to put out some graves, got to, you know, put some skeletons up.
Well, I mean, you can't do that anymore. Christmas starts in September.
Right. I mean, they all fade into one big, long, huge holiday season from Halloween all the way to Christmas, right?
We typically get our Christmas tree up late in December, so we just keep it up until about June.
Is it a real one?
No.
Fake one, right?
Yeah, no way in hell I'm keeping that thing alive for 6 months.
Dude, I bought our family this is on the insistence of my ex-wife. We went out and we bought a real Christmas tree. It was the biggest disaster cleanup ever. Those things start dying off and all those little fucking things start coming off onto your rug.
They're called needles.
And it is impossible to get them off the rug. Like a vacuum doesn't work, really. I mean, they just stick in there. So, and I think I threw it in the back lawn and just let it rot. And it probably was there for 10 years. It wouldn't go away. You'd think a fucking Christmas tree would die after a while.
Brown as shit, I imagine.
Well, I mean, it did. But
you just kept going out there and spray painting it green, right? Just make it look like
I just expected it would deteriorate and crumble apart. but it didn't. So yeah, no more of those for the rest of my time as a father. We had fake trees.
So my parents did real trees up until 1 year. My sister got in trouble, and as a punishment, she had to go out there and clean up all the needles that have fallen.
Oh boy.
So we're sitting there in the kitchen doing whatever else. 20 minutes later, almost none of them are gone because she's over there picking them up one at a time.
Yeah.
One at a time. My dad got so pissed. He's like, "What the fuck?"
But dude, that's what it took. You almost needed tweezers to pull them out of the rug. That's how.
Because it depends on what type of carpet you get, or if you got one of those one of the covers that go underneath the tree.
No, that's what I should have done.
Yeah,
I'm the dumbass then. All right. Yeah, I should have done that. That's a good call, Brett. Very good call.
We already did that. Good.
You framed her.
Yep.
Didn't you? Was that your stepsister or your real sister?
Half sister.
Half sister?
Yeah. You know the story, don't you?
Oh
My
yeah,
parents?
yeah.
Yeah, my parents were together, had me and Chris, got divorced. My dad remarried, had my sister, got divorced, and then remarried my mom.
That happened to my family too. So my grandparents. So my original grandparents were married. They divorced. Okay. They remarried. Then they swapped wives and got remarried. Then they swapped wives again and got remarried 3 times. Is that insane or what? 3 times.
It was a small village. I mean, you can do what you can do, I guess.
Dude, this is Flint, Michigan. It's not a small village. What the fuck's going on? All right.
I also want to preface that even technically speaking, even though it's half sister, she's just sister. So,
that's right. It's all good because that's still blood, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird saying half sister because I almost feel like that makes it like not a sister, and I'm like it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like half sister, half brother. You know, it's not real. You know, but it's not full blood.
It's like half a hard on. Hey,
we're not going that direction.
It can still work.
No,
we just need more.
There's still blood there that doesn't work. Actually, we're not talking about that. No.
All right, Spencer Darity, 769. Hola, Hoosier homies. When will Brandon Craig travel to Europe and become the next Sergio Ramos? Also, the Police are better than Journey. Yeah, I would say the Police are better than Journey, although I think Journey had the bigger hits, maybe. I might be wrong with that, but I think they did have the bigger hits. Like, I can't remember a Journey song all of a sudden. They're in my head. Give me a Journey song, Brett. Don't stop.
Yep. Thank you. That was gonna drive me nuts. I was like, how could I not remember? Yeah.
Police lyrics tended to be a bit better. And of course, the Police had all these other outside influences that they incorporated into what they did. Because Sting's kind of a weird fuck, right? So, but yeah, I mean, some of their music was actually juvenile. One song I can't listen to anymore because it's totally overplayed is, of course, Roxanne.
Yep.
I can't fucking listen to that song anymore. Roxanne! Oh, shut up. Fucking
you don't
song.
have to turn on the red light.
Song about a prostitute. How original.
Trying to turn her into not being a prostitute.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
He's trying to save her, Derek. Come on. That's a heartwarming story.
That's the same thing as the Elton John song that we covered earlier this year. Right? The one about
Rocket Man?
No. She lived an island girl. Don't want to be a white man's world. Do. You know that. Island girl. But
maybe.
same thing. So I guess her prostitute overlord was a white guy. All right. That's what I'm gathering from the song lyrics. It's a horrible song. It's an absolutely wretched song. All right.
Since he brought up Brandon Craig, let's just go ahead and talk about it real quick.
All right.
Not much to talk about.
There isn't, but we did win that game 4-1. the U23s. And yeah, dude, you went to bed. You were like, this game's boring.
Dude, it was like 11:30 and the second half was just starting, and I'm like, dude, I'm not staying up to watch another half of that. That first half was Japan seemingly having the ball 90% of the game.
Yep.
US went on counter after counter and got rid of the ball and somehow managed to pull a 2-1 first half.
Right.
So I don't know how that worked out. I just assumed that Japan was going to come back, but clearly they didn't.
No, I mean, Japan did some Berhalter stuff in the second half where they just sort of passed it around the horseshoe. Pass. Nothing happened. They couldn't penetrate, right?
Was their Gio Reyna not there?
I don't know if they have one. I will say this, the physical size of the players difference was ginormous. I mean, we look like giants compared to those guys. And I know that Japanese people are at least statistically a little bit shorter, but
stereotypically,
that much shorter? Holy shit. No, some of our guys look like fucking giants. Except for I expected Johan to be taller.
You know what? So did I, quite frankly.
Johan Gomez. I expected him to be bigger, and he's not. He's about the same size as his brother, maybe a little taller, but not much taller, and yet he's a center forward. Anyhow, it's a good general performance by us. Of course, playing a standard boring-ass Gregg 4-3-3, which they're required to do because, as you know, as Crocker said, and as others before him said at U.S. Soccer, everybody has to play the same system. Okay, well, it's getting pretty boring, but okay.
Well, I mean, the problem was just it looked like they went out in the formation but had no tactic.
No.
And it was literally just there was no chemistry at all. Nobody was in a position, barely strung a couple passes together before either getting rid of the ball or scoring, apparently. And again, I don't know how well the second half went after that, but I was just, again, 11:30, I'm like, no, I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, well, I'm a sicko. I watched the whole thing. Anyhow, some good goals in that game, some great counters, some good play, some not so good play, but it was spastic. That's how I describe it. Spastic. We were spastic, but it worked out for us, and Japan just dribbled themselves to death. I think they had way more possession. If I saw the stats, it wouldn't surprise me if it was like 60-40, 70-30. But we won again.
I guess the big problem is that since the U20s and U23s qualified, I don't know if the U23s technically played. I think they had one camp after the U20 World Cup.
Yeah, I don't think they have a lot of experience between.
So they don't. I don't feel like they do. Yeah, I feel like some of these players are. I mean, Johan. I don't know if Johan's even been included in the youth national teams.
No, this is his first time.
So I mean,
well, for this squad,
right for himself, I guess.
This squad,
yeah,
right.
So I mean, it's just there's no chemistry whatsoever.
But it was men against boys in a lot of ways.
It's also It was also shocking because I mean these are also professional players. You'd imagine that there'd be some capability of maintaining position, passing, moving, even if without the chemistry. I mean, you're not going to be on everybody's page by any means, but like I said, that first half was like you may string together like one or two passes, and then the ball you get dispossessed or you make an errant play or whatever. It wasn't fun to watch.
Right now, and that would happen in both sides when they went on the attack, except for the only difference would be Japan settled it on occasion and decided to pass it around the shoehorn, and that's that was boring as fuck. But anyhow, there's not much to take home from that except that we won the game, but I wasn't breaking out the cocoa butter for that one. All right. Next.
All right. Let me bounce off and close that out so we don't ruin any more topics coming up here in just a bit. I want to go back a couple shows back. We had a couple alligator videos in Florida. There's another one. Who would have thought that there's this many alligator videos out there?
Okay.
Well, I guess anybody who knows Florida would know that there's probably plenty of alligator videos out there.
Are you going to make me guess what's going to happen? Ooh.
All right, this is bad quality, but there's an alligator here. What do you...
The
But
dude's-
this is not in the Everglades by any means. There's no water around him. He's on grass. Go.
Yeah. Why is he this close to it? Is he going to like jump on top of it and try to? I don't know. That's a good question, but it's not good that he's this close.
Okay, well, let's see what happens.
He's going to get snapped at.
No audio, apparently.
Yeah, he grabbed him. That's a tiny one. Or a smaller one. It's not tiny. It's not like a baby alligator. But it's not a big motherfucker. Get your ass back in there.
Okay, so quick question. Did you hear audio there?
No.
Okay, good. I don't know if this was last show all over again.
No,
Yeah.
I hope not.
He just picks him up and then just carries him across the street and then throws him like he's not an alligator ready to rip your arm off.
He's a fairly small one.
I don't care. That's gonna. He could at least bite a pinky or something.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't get that close to a rabid dog. So, you know, I guess.
Surprised he didn't go in there and just like stick his head in there just for good measure. You know,
the way he throws him in there, so fucking like, get the fuck out of here.
it really was.
This is so like, okay. All right, that was good.
Okay.
You got another one?
Enough of the alligators.
I like your
But I
new
did wanna-
setup.
I know, right? I mean, I got bored with the last basement setup, so I decided to buckle down between Monday and Thursday and create a new one. I figured this is better. I got this nice flat screen TV back here. Got a nice little disco ball so the parties.
Where's
Got a
the
mirror over here so you can see.
oh yeah, and the hook, the stripper pole.
That's for support, Derek. That's for support.
It's for
It's holding up the ceiling. Come on.
You know what the funniest thing is? The last show when you said that, it totally went over my head.
I can't believe you didn't see it either, man. I even went like, there's a wet bar over here, and the pole was like in plain sight. Nobody said anything about it.
Dude, it never clicked. You know how many strip bars I've been to in my life? Probably 3 total.
It's fair.
One in Louisville, and then of course the one in Bloomington, twice.
So it's funny because one of the houses that we were looking at before we bought our old house, actually, we were looking downtown, and the house had a basement. We went down there, and there were all these like every like 6, not 6 feet, maybe like 8 to 10 feet apart from each other, are like metal poles that are holding up the upstairs.
Oh no shit!
And so of course we cracked the joke. I'm like, well, this is where we're going to be hosting our strip classes.
But
Learn to be a stripper at the Corpus House.
But those were actually support poles.
Absolutely right.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's funny.
I don't know. Not very good supporting when it's up against the wall almost.
Yeah.
It's like 4 feet off outside that.
Yeah, that would make sense. But you know, I used to live in college with a bunch of other people with a stripper, Nisa Janik. Oh shit!
How many friends did she hook you up with?
Shit, I shouldn't have used her last name. Anyhow, yeah.
Oddly enough, she's still at the same strip club, right?
I doubt it. No. She moved to where'd they move? Her and Paul. She had a boyfriend named Paul, who's a good friend of ours as well. Anyhow, they moved away, but she hooked me up. All right. I mean, I don't think she hooked me up specifically, but she brought some strippers home to come party with the rest of us, right? College kids. And yeah, I ended up, her name was Billie, Billie. And she was probably, I was at the time 21, and she must have been at least 28, dude. And anyhow, she thought she's going to teach me some stuff. Let's just put it that way. And I just feigned along and let her do it.
Finger in the butthole, right?
No, we didn't. No butthole on that one.
All right.
Nisa was a great gal.
So apparently, there's this story of a shark.
Yeah.
We've done shark news in a while.
Shark news. Dun, 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 dun.
It's the weirdest Jaws impersonation I've ever heard. Dun-dun. Not da 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 da. That's like the metal Jaws theme.
It's Jaws on Coke.
Yeah. So they tagged this shark off the coast of the Atlantic with a GPS tracker just to see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, the shark made its travel all along the eastern coast
Mm-hmm.
of the United States and formed what appears to be
A penis. I'm
a shark.
oh shit. It's kind of shark-esque.
Kind of made a shark.
What's he doing all the way up in fucking Nova Scotia?
I don't know.
That's weird, man. It's cold up there.
Maybe he's up there. Maybe he migrated up there during the. I don't know. Sharks are they like the warm waters or the cold waters?
Is this a great?
warm waters?
It's a great white, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, warm. Although I did watch a video of some motherfuckers filming a great white shark in Nova Scotia Bay, and they were shocked to see one. But maybe it was this fucker right here.
Yeah.
Could have been. And he was big. He was like a 36-footer.
Just imagine him coming down, going like this. Oh, I swear to God, there used to be land here. Where the fuck did it go? Just turn right. We'll just go that direction, I guess. Oh, there it is. Go back up now.
Yeah, they usually don't get that. Like, Florida's not a big spot for great whites. So I'm surprised he went that far south.
Of late, they've been in the Carolinas,
Yeah.
and Georgia areas. I mean, Florida's not terribly far off. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, Florida's more bull shark territory. Bull sharks, white tips, black tips, hammerheads. White sharks tend to hang out closer to the Carolinas. Don't really go that far south usually, or that far north. That's the real surprising one. What the fuck is he doing up there? But, it was a hot summer, so maybe, that was during the summer he went all the way up there.
There you go.
Okay.
Just vacationed. It's busy work being a shark.
I'm surprised he didn't create a penis. That's where I thought you were heading with this.
I'd have more respect for the shark if it did that.
You have to make a loop to make the balls, though. That would be hard.
I'm gonna do this. Hold on, I should have had this set up properly. Here we go. Gonna do a little more. Okay.
All right.
We're gonna do a little spelling bee with you, Derek.
Spelling bee. Okay.
Not really even a spelling bee. What's it when what's called when they mix up the letters and you got to figure out what to say?
Oh fuck. Okay.
Do we literally talk about this recently?
I don't know. I don't remember what that's called.
Anagram?
There you go. Something like that. Yeah.
Maybe I'm right. I don't know. All right, Derek. Let's see if you can get this. Okay. There's 4 of them. All right.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, the first one's penis. Second one's Hitler. Oh, I'm not saying number 3 and butt sex. Not saying number 3.
Okay. Number 3 is supposed to trip you up. It's not what you think.
Okay.
Think
Ringer.
of another word.
Ringer is the other possibility.
No, there's only 1 R.
Oh. Rigging? No. No, that's not it either. I don't know. What is number 3? Let's see. That's fucked up.
I'll give you a hint.
Jerring?
Josh Sargent. What type of ninja is he?
Kind of ninja is he?
Yeah.
I have no clue. He's
also a spice.
A ginger?
There you go.
Okay. I can see that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I had to tell you. Actually, Derek, the first one's spine. It's not penis. Mind out of the gutter, man. The number 2 you thought was Hitler?
It could be.
It's lither.
Oh, come on.
I have no idea. Is that actually even a word?
I don't know if that's even a word. I've never heard anybody say lither.
We already know ginger.
Mm-hmm.
And last one you said was butt sex.
Well, that's what it looks like.
It's actually subtext.
Oh, subtext. Okay. That's a pretty good one. I would have gotten them all wrong.
Zoom out. Zoom back out. There we go.
All right.
Yeah, so I was trying to show this without necessarily showing the answers because I would have ruined. Actually, no, the answers are right there. I don't even know if that was displayed or not.
I couldn't see it, obviously. And Hitler is an actual name, so that wouldn't make sense at all.
All right. Well, I messed up on the anagram. It is an anagram. I think B. Martin pointed it out to me that it was. But
with
this
butt
actually is
sex,
a spelling
with
bee.
with butt sex in it, could be an anagram.
Nicely done. That was quick.
So
So I got a spelling test here. Not for my kid.
What are we doing? We're testing me today.
This would be my kid would be an absolute legend if he did this in class, and I would love it if they did. But I feel like the fault falls on the teacher for providing this question on a spelling test.
Okay. All right, 5 words you can spell. 5 words you can spell. Very clever.
I want to know how many times that happened. How many people catch on to that?
I bet you not a lot. But this was very smart. And yeah, I mean, you should have to have in parentheses. You can't use any of the words on this paper.
Instead of saying 5 marks, obviously, because there's 5 questions here, or 5 words you have to spell, you should say, and you cannot use any of the words. Well, the more words you put in there, you're screwing the kid over.
Yeah, because you're taking them all up. You write a fucking paragraph.
Make sure you use all the most common words in the alphabet, like 6 letters or greater.
Yeah. Yeah, you get no words left.
Yeah.
Oh man. I like.
Don't worry. This tripped up my senior class too. No.
I like that he got a +2 for being clever.
Or I wonder if it was only worth 2 points. I don't know.
Well, that's not fair.
How do you if you miss one? What is it? How many points do you get?
Yeah, so it must be 5 + 2. She must have gotten 7.
0.4 points taken off. You got 1.6.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very. That would make much sense. So I'm guessing he got a 7 on that total.
Yeah, I would hope he got some bonus points because that's pretty fucking funny.
7 out of 5.
All right.
Soccer.
We're done with the elementary education. Let's move on to somebody who has a higher than elementary education. That's MLS soccer.
Okay. I mean, sort of.
Kyle's fine. No, that's just the topic of MLS soccer.
Oh yeah.
Kyle's fine.
Come on.
Yeah.
Can you make it a little bigger?
I certainly can.
That's what she said. All right. Additionally, related but not directly, an MLS source has confirmed to Sporting News that discovery rights are among the many MLS rules under review. The current table proposal is to drop each club's slots from 7 to 3, but some clubs are for eliminating entirely. Just fucking eliminate it.
We talked about this before the show that somebody had asked Laws, what can make MLS a better league or whatever, or what makes it seen as a better league, and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Get rid of the Mickey Mouse bullshit that you don't need anymore.
You don't need it.
You never needed discovery rights. I thought that was the dumbest thing in the world.
The motherfucker is in Europe. He's a free fucking agent. Anyone can make him an offer, and anyone can pay him the largest sum he accepts. That's it. It's over. It's done. Can we quit fiddly fucking around with these clown ass rules?
Yeah.
This is so 1997. It ain't 1997 anymore. We don't have to worry about some American player in Europe who wants to come here, and we want to make sure that somebody has put discovery rights on him. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're not. I bet you if they were challenged, they probably wouldn't be legal, except that MLS is a single entity.
Yeah.
So they can always say it doesn't really matter because we're all the same thing. We're one big, massive conglomerate of the same thing. So, but that's not how it's working anymore. Teams are going out. They're doing the research. They're picking. And so I know they're not independent clubs on paper. They're all under the big umbrella of MLS. But MLS and Garber have been trying slowly but surely can make these teams more independent. Well, it's time to just move this rule out of the way.
Well,
Get it over with.
What's stupid about the rule, quite frankly, is that every team has seven slots of players they can discover, which is basically saying, hey, I wonder who was the fastest to submitting their submission for Ronaldo or Messi at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. How serious is this? This is ridiculous. Let's say Columbus had the discovery rights for Messi, and he wanted to go to Miami. Miami would have had to fork over some arbitrary fee, like $150,000. Let's just say I'm making numbers up here,
right,
for that discovery right. God, I would imagine that would have to be the fee itself, in order to make any sense, would have to be arbitrary for each player or subjective to each player. So if it's Messi, we're talking about a larger fee because Columbus really wants to sign this person.
Right.
Of course, Messi has a little more say, but if it's
in this case, I'm sure
lesser quality.
Messi had all the say.
Oh,
everybody knew he'd been talking to Beckham for some time, and this was almost a given. So it's kind of like when Beckham came too. You think Beckham was, on 6 teams different? No. MLS and Lawless brokered that deal, and everybody knew where he was going. Hollywood. That's where he was going. So
again, you just pay whatever club had the rights, a small pittance, and then move on. Yeah. Going off of Al's comment here, our discovery rights and homegrown rules even legal. The homegrown rule needs to go away too. Not the signing of homegrown players. That's different. But the rule of saying that a team can only scout within a certain radius of the club. Or if you're out in the boonies, you've got a much wider range than if you were, say, LA Galaxy or LAFC. How the fuck do you split? I mean, I'm sure they know how to split that up. But that's gonna be rough. For a while they're playing out of the same stadium. You got to split that up. That's city up. How does that work out?
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
Yeah, that's another stupid rule. Let the teams develop their players.
So
let's just say they have first right to sign them. Then at that point, again, whatever.
Yeah,
but if they're not actually signed to the club, then they can go wherever the fuck they want. It doesn't matter.
If Red Bull wants to come to Indianapolis and scout some players locally here and decide to sign them, they should be able to fucking do it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be limited to the Chicago fucking Fire. All right? It's ridiculous. All right.
Stupid.
It's stupid indeed.
Stupid. Let's stick in MLS. I got one more thing. I think only one more thing of MLS. Two more things.
Okay. Brandon Vasquez. One of my goals is to go to Europe. I think if I want to make the 2026 World Cup roster, I have to be overseas competing in the best leagues in the world. The best scenario for me is to bring Cincinnati a championship and make the jump this winter. Well, yeah, I don't know what his contract situation is, but he could have already left by now because he wanted to, and they wouldn't let him go.
Yeah, I think he had a gentleman's agreement per se with Cincy saying, "Hey, after the season, sell me, but I'll stick. I won't push for a sell until afterwards." I know he had some bids in the summer, and they were turned down because the idea was that he was going to finish out the season with Cincy and then go in the winter.
And I'm sure this is what Gregg has told him. I mean, certainly, if Klinsmann were manager, this is exactly what he would tell him. Yeah. I don't know what Gregg's telling him, but he is going to be fighting for that spot. And there aren't many because we only typically take 2, max 3 center forwards.
Well, with the 23-man roster, it's going to be 2 now, guaranteed. Unless somebody like Sargent who can play multiple positions gets brought in for that reason.
Yeah, because you're fighting against PFOC because he's big and tall like PFOC or a Pepe for that. But yeah, he would have to go over there, go to, let's say, Stuttgart. No, he's not going to go there. Go to whoever gets, promoted next season in Germany and score a bucket load of goals. Mm-hmm. That's the only hope he's got.
Well, and with the 23-man roster, like we said, you're only really looking at 2 spots.
That's ridiculous.
Gregg doesn't even have the luxury of saying, like, well, I would like this type of a striker and I want to bring this type of a striker. At that point, with 2 spots, Berhalter's only going to be looking at who's the 2 best performing players that I feel comfortable with. I'm bringing them in.
It's going to be Balogun and whoever.
Yeah. So it's Balogun guaranteed. Right now, I imagine it's Pepe. Surprised even if Sarge were to come back, get healthy, and start scoring goals in championship. At that point, it's going to have to be on Pepe to fail at the U.S. men's national team level before I would imagine Sarge would get another look. And then after Sarge, you have Haji Wright, you have Pfog, you've got Jack Sparrow.
No.
Jack Sparrow. It depends who you're playing, I guess.
No, Jack Sparrow's done.
We're playing Trinidad and Tobago next month. I think we need to bring in the Sparrow.
I doubt he's going to get called up for that.
I don't think so either. No, I'm joking.
I know, but somebody was saying that he should be the third option behind Tillman and Reyna as the CAM.
That's fine. That's fine, though. I mean, quite frankly, when we go away from having an attacking midfielder, we've looked sus in quite a few games.
Yeah, but I don't think he plays the CAM the same way. Reyna and Tillman are field generals.
It's true. Okay, I'll give you that much.
He's a false nine.
Yeah,
we don't need a false nine.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
I'm just saying, once you get past Tillman, man, your options are limited in that spot, and then I guess at that point you're just filling it in with center mids who can go both ways.
Booth maybe.
I've never seen. I mean, I guess he has played center, or he has played in the center midfield with Berhalter once and won Camp Cupcake.
Yeah, but he's mostly
outside that. He's been on the wing
with his club. He's a right winger. Yeah, I don't know. There are no other Tillmans or Reynas in our. I mean, what? Malik's brother, maybe, but he's playing in MLS, and clearly that's not where we're trending as far as rosters and who's going to get called up. Unless you're Miles Robinson. So, yeah.
Jackie D says, Ferrer is more of a 10 now for Dallas.
Yeah, he does play more of a 10 for them. But
does he have a striker in front of him?
Yeah.
I can't say because I really haven't watched any Dallas games, so I don't know.
I've only watched like 4 of them this season. But I haven't seen any of the ones where he's played the 10. But I noticed when I go through U.S. Soccer Way and look at all the lineups that I notice he's been playing a little deeper. So, yeah, I mean, it's possible. I haven't seen him play anything but a false 9, and I wonder if his Dallas 10 spot looks more like a false 9 or a second striker rather than a field general, which is what Reyna and Tillman are. They can roam. You give them free roam to do whatever they want. They show up where they want, wherever they're needed. And that's what we saw from Reyna against Germany. He had free roam. He could go over. He could go deep and pick up the ball. He could go play some offense. He could play basic midfield. He did whatever he wanted, but he made himself available to whoever needed him and wherever he needed to be to help us. That's, I don't even know if you can call that a 10. That's like, hey, do whatever the fuck you want. Just help us out. Role. And I don't think Ferrer is capable of playing that kind of role. We've seen Malik do the same thing for PSV. He's all over the fucking place. You're like, what position is this guy playing? 1 minute, you think he's a striker. The next minute, he's dropping all the way back to pick the ball up at midfield to go. I mean, it's crazy. So, but that's what we need. And those players do not grow on trees. So right now, there's 2 of them.
Well, we have Luca Acosta. We hear he's going to be playing for the United States soon.
Lucci Acosta. Hey, he's good. He's a good. He's better than Ferrer at the 10. I can tell you that. Paxton, even as we saw with the U23s, is pushed way far forward.
He played in that lineup against Japan. He played as a left striker. If you will. If we're counting all 3 up top as strikers, left wing striker, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I see him a lot like his brother, unfortunately, and I feel like he can do some of those things, but he's best so far, like his brother, being able to carry the ball forward. Although I was happy that Brendan did what he did against Germany. I gave him props for that, for trying to be bold and dribble through the whole fucking team. But I don't think of either of those guys as super creative with super creative vision, like can see the whole field and know where the right pass needs to go. That's a skill you just you can't replace. Let's say Tillman and Reyna are out. No one right now can fill that role in the way those guys can, because you're already taking a step down from Reyna to Tillman. I think not a large step, but a step. Now, if you put Paxton there, you're taking multiple steps down, because that's just not what he is. It's just not what he is. Respect Luna, please. I don't have any disrespect against Luna at all, but he is pretty creative. I'll give him that. I think that he is another one of those players that after, let's say, he begins to dominate in MLS, or at least showing that he's an everyday starter for Real Salt Lake, then he's got to go to Europe and do it, right? That's the only way to really prove it at this point, because every single player projecting out for 2026, outside of Miles Robinson, who I suspect will go to Europe as well, is going to be playing in Europe in one of the top 5, 6 leagues, 7 leagues in the world. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah, he's got stiff competition with Gio and Tillman right now, but there's always an open spot because somebody's always injured, it seems like.
Man, I loved watching Luna play in the youth setup. I thought he was freaking great, but he was inconsistent with his club. That's the problem. All right, Drippin' or Trippin', new MLS franchise. Whoa. Okay. It's a little busy. That's a little busy. I'm going to say
universally panned on Twitter.
It's tripping. It ain't dripping.
Yeah.
That's tripping. And it's tripping for more reasons than one. It's way too much shit going on.
I'm spacing his last name, but Michel, the MLS pundit dude, what's his name? Last name starts with a G, I think. I don't know. Somebody will have it in the chat, I'm sure. Even he goes, you guys managed to do all this research without picking out any aspect of the city itself.
I think,
paraphrasing, of course.
Yeah, no, I think the logo should be a man with a very hairy chest. That's how they work their youth. They're going to work their youth system there. It's going to be about who hits puberty. I think that was what they quoted, right? We've got to be aware when a player has hit puberty before other players, so we can move them up. So they're not playing with the U15s, they're now playing with the U17s because they've hit puberty, and we've got to be able to notice that in our youth system. So this is going to be the fucking hairiest team that ever played in Major League Soccer. San Diego, hairy dudes. No, I mean, go ahead.
Doesn't say does anybody in MLS, and I kept saying Chicago Fire was a SC, not an FC, but does anybody in MLS have a soccer club instead of the FC football club?
Anybody else?
Does anybody?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Just I keep seeing the new teams spring up, and there's always FC, and I'm just like, guys, go with SC. Let's stick with our actual country's phrase here.
Well, there are a lot of Hispanic influence in the San Diego area, so maybe that's why they're going with that.
I don't care. That's who said it. Yeah,
Michelle Giannone.
All right.
Yeah,
we have Columbus. We got Orlando. We have Nashville. Apparently, there are some SCs in the club.
Yeah, I haven't really paid attention to that much lately. It got boring. It's like every team was named the same thing.
It's always United or it's FC. It seems like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, San Diego. This logo, you got to fix this. Whoever you hired for this is like, this guy's stuck on design 2012. This guy's way behind. Whoever you hired is way behind what is considered an awesome badge at this point. And this badge sucks. Mm-hmm. Actual country's language, Real Salt Lake, Inter Miami.
Yeah.
MLS is fucking sad. Yeah, I mean, those are big steals, right? Real Madrid. Yes, big steal.
I would have been perfectly fine using Chicago as an example if they just kept it as Chicago Fire, but it's always gonna be Chicago Fire Soccer Club or Chicago Fire Football Club, I guess. But why not stick it to it with our language? How we always call it soccer. So why not go with the FCs instead of FCs? It's just like there's FCs, there's Uniteds, although they're not necessarily uniting anything. Not sure where the Uniteds come from.
They're not
there's
uniting anything.
There's the Inters. I mean, it's St. Louis apparently is a soccer club. That's good.
I remember when there was the Aztecs. I mean, there were some great, cool names out there in the old NASL. There's some horrible ones too, but there were some great ones. Chicago Sting. That's a fucking great name. You guys had the big Bumblebee outfits back in the 80s, in the 70s. That was so cool. So Cosmos, what a great name. The Galaxy obviously riffed off of that and said, oh, we can't be the Cosmos, but we could be a Galaxy.
Well, I think the Galaxy went with the whole Hollywood stars and whatnot.
Well, even though the original Cosmos name was it was short for Cosmopolitan.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I imagine that would have been.
Yeah. But then they used the big swooping logo, right? That made you think more like, oh, Cosmos, like the cosmos out there, But yeah, we could do better on names. There's just no doubt about it. It's getting a little old with all the FCs and the SCs and the Uniteds. Remember, we did originally name the Indianapolis, the Indy 11 was Racing or Racing Indy. But
I was thinking with racing because at least it's connected to our fucking city.
Exactly. But there are already two other teams in the world named, or might be more, but there were two I knew of at the time named Racing. So I was like, that's a really cool thing. And it connects with our local, history for racing. And of course, there was a big legal battle, or not a legal battle. There was a legal discussion. And eventually IMS was like, hey, we're not comfortable with that. Like, you're not comfortable with calling calling the team. Like, that's an homage to you, dude.
But yeah, that's the thing though. I imagine there's got to be other racetracks that have the term racing in it. Well, I can't imagine IMS having a trademark on all things racing.
Well, they don't. And if we would have fought it, we would have won. But why bother, right?
It would have been a stupid legal battle.
Yeah. So
dumb.
In the end, we decided, okay, we won't use Racing Indy, okay, because it's going to get confused with. At the time, Indy Racing League was already dead. They were already doing they already went back to whatever it's called now. Anyhow, yeah. So it was over, right? So it's IndyCar now. It's just called IndyCar. So racing would not have been. I don't know why they were worried about that. And remember, I also had to meet with their lawyers about the Brickyard Battalion. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
I had to go meet their fucking lawyers and pretend I was a lawyer and have a discussion with them about, hey, we're really not comfortable with using Brickyard Battalion, Brickyard in particular. That's us, Brickyard. I'm like, okay. But anyhow, we worked it out. It all worked out. It's fine. But God.
I mean, that makes more sense in the sense that it's at least has a more like consistent connection to them. Yeah, whereas racing is so fucking general.
I mean, does it need 3 meetings? I mean, that should have been over in 1 meeting. 3 meetings with their lawyers and me. I'm not even a lawyer, but I managed to somehow finagle
fictional
around
supporter group.
I'm like, guys, let me explain to you how this happened. So anyhow, it all worked out in the end. But the fact that they wouldn't let us name the team, which we, Ursula had already bought Racing Indy FC or racingindy.com. He'd already bought it. We'd already bought all that shit. So he did. I didn't buy shit. He bought it.
Yeah.
So, the fact that we couldn't even call the team what we wanted to call it was ridiculous. But you know what? It all worked out. And then IMS and the soccer team had a great relationship going forward. So good. They actually shared employees.
I feel like when it comes to like the Brickyard, when it comes to the Brickyard thing, I feel like that was more along the lines of like how you have to like license out Lady Victory.
Yeah.
You can't just throw it up on anything.
Right. Well, that was another little ditty that had to be worked out with the city.
There's
Right.
so many legal issues here in Indy.
Yeah. Although thankfully I would say the mayor, who is Ballard, I believe at the time, was very helpful. City council got us through all of that, no problem. So that was have to be grateful to all of them for that. They were really supportive. God, going back. You're bringing me back, Brett. Oh, no, time machine. All right, Clam Pack FC 199. Where are the SFs at? Soccer franchises. Where
Chicago Fire soccer franchise.
Yeah, they're none of those.
No, but obviously the joke is that we don't have – the people are like, we don't have clubs.
No, we don't. That's correct, because it's single entity. It is all the teams fall underneath the Major League Soccer
umbrella.
Garber umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
He is the ruler. All right. I can't believe we spent this much time on San Diego's badge, but hey, it brought up memories. I remember Indiana. You guys played basketball in cornfields, right? I only lived here since I was 16 years old. So I lived a lot of other places. Wasn't aware of the whole basketball thing in Indiana. Really didn't strike me until I moved to Fort Knox in about 84, 82, and 83 or somewhere around there. And then, the Celtics and Larry Bird were killing it. And then he was from French Lick, Indiana, right? Yeah. But I was living in Kentucky, so I was like looking across the river. I didn't even know there was a Fort Benjamin Harrison that I end up here. I didn't know that. But yeah, Larry Bird is my first understanding of basketball.
Not the movie Hoosiers, huh?
When did that come out?
Came out in the 70s?
No.
80s? Had
Gene Hackman?
Gene Hackman, yeah.
He'd be dead by now if he came out in the 70s because he was old in that one. I'm going to guess 80.
It was 86.
86. Okay.
I said 80s, but that's even higher than I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
Around my freshman or sophomore year. So, I mean, I get it. Once I moved to Indiana, I certainly understood it. And when I went to IU, then I really understood it because it's Bobby Knight land, right? So there you go.
All right. This isn't necessarily transfer news, Derek, but I do want to play the intro anyways.
All right, hold on. Let me get prepped.
You ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Transfer news. Transfer news. But
that was good. It was much better, Derek. You've been practicing.
Is that synced?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little lag on it at first, but you're right on line with it. So yeah, it's pretty
sweet
good.
Ass. All right. So what is this transfer news? Bournemouth and U.S. men's national team midfielder Tyler Adams will be out until February. Okay. Previous surgery in March was not good enough. He needed a new one, and he's going to be out for 4 months at least, as reported. Ooh, this is not good. Because, he had that sports hernia before, and that just would not go away. So it's almost like we're back to something just as bad, right? Just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at this point, obviously Nations League and the next U.S. men's national team A window are out of the question. The earliest he's going to be back is for Copa, basically.
Yeah.
But at that point, do you bring him back into the fold for Copa? I mean, you only have a 23-man roster, and you're going into it. And who knows how long he'll be back at that point.
And as good as Johnny played last game, alongside Musa, which I'm sure made McKennie think, ooh, maybe I am expendable too. I don't think so. I think Gregg loves McKennie, but and I do too, obviously.
I think that might have affected Luka more than McKennie.
Yeah, Luka looks like he's fallen deeper down the path, especially if we're going to end up playing a double pivot with Reyna on top. Yeah. We'll get into that later, but yeah, Luka's fallen down because Gregg loves some Musa, and I'm not saying he should because Musa does good things or generally does. Mm-hmm. And he's obviously going to get a lot of playing time at AC Milan this season and continue to grow as a player. But Luca De La Torre, I think, is going to suffer minutes if Cardoso indeed does move to Spain, as is being reported. Like there's an 80% chance the tax say that he's moving to Spain during the winter. And if he goes there, he does just as well as Luca does with Celta, then he's going to be really, and he played so well. Okay, you can say it's Ghana. Okay, it's Ghana. It's but Luca De La Torre had a pretty bad game versus Germany.
Well, yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Of course, you got to take into consideration that he also has a string of very good games with the United States national team as well.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the Ghana game, you said, oh, yeah, I was against Ghana. But, I mean, Ghana didn't stop really caring until U.S. went up multiple goals.
Right.
I mean, first 20 minutes or so, Ghana was right up there. They had chances. They were pressing. And then we put up 3-4 goals in the first half. And, of course, the second half they come out. But but go back. The reason I'm bringing that up is because we're talking about Johnny. Oh, it's just against Ghana. But he still played. He still did all he could do. I mean, he still did fine. He had opportunities where he was trying to break the lanes. He did it well. So I don't know. I thought it was a good showing for him. That's one thing I talked about this going into this window, is that because people are like hyping up from his performance with his club, and I'm like, I need to see with the national team. I need to see that type of performance, and we didn't see it against Germany because he had bit minutes there. Did he play against Germany actually?
No.
Okay,
I don't think
maybe
so.
He did. Regardless, but he came in obviously against Ghana and played very well. That's all you could ask.
Yeah, I'm going back to my notes just to be sure, but
I got mine here too, actually.
yeah, he got 15.
Yeah, you got one check mark for me. So.
Yeah, he got 15 against Germany. I barely noticed him.
Yeah.
I mean, we were not playing very well up until like the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes of that half.
Pretty much.
Second half. So there wasn't much positive to put down on paper in that second half with Germany until the very end. So listen, I mean, Tyler, there's a massive battle going on for the midfield, and it's going to depend eventually on how Gregg wants to play. And if Gregg has decided, and I'm not sure if he has, but boy, he better, that Gio Reyna needs to be on the fucking pitch every game, then there's only 2 spots. There's only 2 spots left for Musa, McKennie, Adams, and Cardoso, and Luca De La Torre.
So an interesting concept, I guess, to consider, because they talked about he talked about how Weston is the type of player that, you know, you kind of have to just give freedom to do his thing. And then, mind you, some of that results in him being further back. But I guess the idea would be is if we're in a situation where we only have one attacking midfield again, I mean, personally, I think at that point you'd almost want to push Weston up to the Reyna role when Reyna gets subbed off at halftime and say, Weston, stop coming back so far. Just meet up with your teammates, distribute out.
Yeah, the whole problem again is that McKennie's not really a like-for-like replacement for Reyna.
He's not, no. And again, people talked about there's not really a like-for-like replacement for Reyna at all.
Tillman is
closest option,
the closest you're going to get. McKennie is a guy who can go box to box, can get in the box, and used to score goals for Juventus with headers, etc. Can he be creative? Yeah, but not on a consistent base, and he's not a field general. That's what Reyna is, and that's what Tillman is in many ways for PSV too. So not PSV2, the team, PSV as well, yes. So he's not a field general. He's not a Pirlo, and I'm not calling Reyna Pirlo because obviously Pirlo is not the same player. He is not a gazelle. That's what fucking Reyna is as well with the ball. He's a fucking gazelle. Mm-hmm. Pirlo was limited athletically, but he could hit a dime, on
I guess you could make that argument. Pass. You could make that argument. That's what Weston is kind of doing for the last 3 or so games for the U.S. He's kind of sitting back farther, but he's not playing an overly defensive role, but he gets the ball and he laces a nice 40-yard ball to an open desk. Now, of course, we have the opposition we're playing against has benefited us and him. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be like for like by any means. And like you said, it won't be, but hopefully Tillman is back up and running coming up in November, and we won't worry about this conversation.
I mean, if Adams is healthy, Moose is healthy, McKennie's healthy, Reyna's healthy, and Cardoso's healthy, Luca De La Torre's healthy, that's 6 guys.
You already say Tillman?
Tillman's healthy. That's 7 dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely need to bring a backup for Reyna. So that's Tillman and Reyna, right? That's leaving fewer spots for the midfield.
You need to bring Tillman and Reyna anyways, because if you bring one of them, what happens when you sub out one of them at that point, you're going to have the same situation we've experienced in the second halves of this window.
Right.
The creativity dies out. The opposition has more run of the midfield, and it goes from there.
Then we go back to Gregg ball.
Yeah. And at that point, you'd have to push back up to the Tyler Adams role, the 1-6 with the 2 box-to-box 8s, instead of trying to do what he was still trying to do a double pivot with an offensive-minded player who's not a Reyna alternative.
Right. I think there's this dude who replied to my whole spiel that I did about what's incontrovertible now. Jesus, I can't speak. It's incontrovertible. Anyhow, what I was saying was, listen, at this point, if Reyna's not on the field, we look like dog poo playing Gregg's 4-3-3. And some guy's like, well, isn't the 4-2-3-1 a Gregg formation too? Yeah, maybe when he was with Columbus on occasion, it was, right? Or multiple times. But not since he's been the U.S. men's national team coach. 4-2-3-1, he won't even admit we play it. He won't even admit we play a 4-2-3-1. He won't say it. No, that's BJ's. BJ did that.
And Hudson
did that. He's not done it. His whole fucking reign as coach of the United States men's national team. So no, I'm not giving that Berhalter. I'm not calling that Berhalter ball either. I'm not going to call it. That's BJ ball or Hudson ball.
He has done it on the pitch. He just hasn't done it on paper or verbally, I guess.
No, he won't. He won't say it.
But but it's not like, yeah, you can't say that's not Berhalter ball too, because Berhalter once played with a 3 back line. Is that Berhalter ball?
Once.
No, Berhalter ball. Berhalter ball describes a very particular setup of a 4-3-3.
Right.
And that's generally speaking the middle 3 having the Tyler Adams role, and then the 2 double 8s, the 2
6
8s,
double 8s, exactly.
So that's that. No creative midfielder in there. It's all about controlling the play and moving the ball around and possessing. That's the idea behind it.
And that's ideal Berhalter ball, system ball. It's the same system the women use, the same system all the youth teams use. Is that a coincidence? Fuck no, it's not. It's not a fucking coincidence. Why do you think Cab Ramos quit? He was told he had to play fucking Berhalter ball and move to Chicago, and he said, lick my dick, motherfuckers. Ain't happening. I ain't playing with any system you throw at me. I was going to play the system and the formations I want to play as the youth coach. And they said, no, you can't do that anymore. And he said, fuck it. I'm leaving. Lane Kiffin. For $2. Thank you, my brother. What about a diamond midfield?
We talked about that on Monday.
Yeah, we did.
We talked about having Pulisic up with Ballo, and then having Weah in Aronson or McKinney, I guess. McKinney could play like wing, I guess, if you want.
I just don't know if that works.
The problem is we have way too many center midfielders. And playing a 4-4-2 with the diamond either means that we're pushing one of our center midfields as a winger, or we're benching a shit ton of players.
It does.
So unfortunately, where our player pool is at, the 4-2-3-1 best suits us for being creative and offensive. The 4-3-3 would be more defensive, I guess, even though we have 2 box-to-box 8 midfielders in that situation.
I mean, let's build the diamond, right? That's a 4-4-2 essentially. And so you got your back four, and then your holding mid in the diamond is Adams, right?
Has to be.
And then your left mid is Pulisic. Your right mid is Weah, right?
No, I'm thinking Pulisic's probably gonna be a second striker.
Or he has to move one of those guys to striker.
Yeah. So,
But
Weah has a history as a striker, and he likes to get up there. Pulisic also has history. So you're playing either Pulisic or Weah as a second striker with Ballo, and then the other player. I'm saying Weah is going to be our right mid because he at least plays kind of that position anyways with Juve right now, more or less.
He could get away with that, and you play McKennie on the left mid, right? Guess he could do that, and then you play Reyna as the top of the diamond, and then you have Pulisic and Pepe up top, or Pulisic and Balogun up top. It's still, I mean, it could work. It's possible it could work.
But would McKennie at that situation play a wing like a wing should be played?
No.
He wouldn't. He'd be basically playing a center midfielder out to the left, which is
Well,
sort of what we saw.
that's how Bob played it too, though, because he'd have Donovan on one wing and Dempsey on the other in that diamond.
Those are also pinched in the 4-2-2-2.
Right.
That opened up the wing, the backs to get up and down.
He did play the diamond on occasion, but usually he stuck to the 4-2-2-2.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Lane. I mean, it's something to consider. I'd consider anything. I consider anything but the standard Gregg 4-3-3 is a limp dick. It's a limp dick.
On an actual empty bucket. I mean, you'd probably want what Pulisic and Reyna to play the Donovan Dempsey role.
Yeah, but then you're
Balogun more or less.
But you're wasting in a 4-2-2-2. You're wasting Reyna's greatest skill, which is to be the free roaming 10.
Yep.
In the middle of the park.
I agree completely.
And go wherever he wants to go and do whatever he wants to do. So I'm not sure about a 4-2. Right now, 4-2-3-1 is just goddamn perfect for Reyna.
Who we got? Yep. In Reyna.
For Reyna.
100%.
And Reyna's got to be on the field, guys. It's got to be on the field. And we can get to some of the dumbass comments.
Yep, we'll get there in just a second. One little quick thing. Speaking about wasting talent, what about Nike? Nike and their abilities to create jerseys. What do you think of this one?
Boring.
There's a part of me that looks at it and go like, I like the plainness of it. Like it's clean, but yeah, it is boring, right? Somebody actually got paid to do this.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We'll just put the American flag colors on the arms and then around the neck, right? There you go, done.
That neck
pay me the monies.
Yeah, it looks like a scarf the way it's set up. You know?
Yeah. Why is there no actual like you gotta think of something American, maybe like an eagle popping out of this, like just like faded like a gray almost coming out of that a bit? Something, I don't know. Think something American. I mean, you had the Mexican jerseys that had like the Aztec prints on it and all that shit.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty bad.
Instead, what do we get? We get that little weird looking fake collar print on the white jersey. We got the blue tie-dye crap. The women's white jersey looks like somebody took a blue paintbrush and did that to it a couple times.
Splattered it. Yeah.
It's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
I don't know. This might be the first. I mean, if I were to go and buy a jersey at this point, which I probably won't, this would probably be the one I'd get, just because again it's clean.
It's clean.
But you're right. It's boring. It's just that's the best way to describe it. It's boring as shit.
Now it's an ensemble, right? So it depends on what the short colors are and the socks colors are.
I imagine blue.
This could be fine depending on the color of the socks and the shorts, but we don't get that, so hard to say.
Yeah, I imagine blue shorts and
I think the collar.
White socks again.
I think the collar could have just been blue. It didn't need to have red in it, but
they're trying to pull in the Americanness there.
No, I get it, but you already got red and blue on the
logo or
on the
crest?
Here. No,
on
the sleeves.
arms. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I just make the collar more subtle. It doesn't need to be that gigantic, like you're wearing a scarf.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
Minor
All right, you kind of alluded to it earlier when we were sitting there talking about Reyna, and like, oh, I did want to get this in there beforehand because it's just a quick throwaway topic here about the jersey. But you brought it. We were talking about Reyna for a bit there. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these comments in the past.
You know what gets me about this whole thing, Brett?
Yeah.
And Pete liked my response to the dude who's like, "Who are you arguing with, dude?" No one. When Pete said,
"Oh, back when we had this argument earlier, or just recently?"
So Pete made a post and said, "Hey, all the people that wanted Reyna thrown off the team and never play for the U.S. men's national team again, they need to issue an apology."
Yeah.
And some dick face, same thing happened to me when I did it, said,
"Yeah,
who are you arguing with? Nobody says that."
Nobody ever.
What are you,
that,
fucking moron? Where are you, everywhere? Are you everywhere? Do you read every fucking Twitter? How much do you fucking travel the Twitterverse, the Xverse of U.S. soccer? Because if you're dumb enough to say no one said that, who you arguing with, no one's ever said that, then you're just a fucking idiot. Shut your fucking pie hole, fucking moron.
And Tact even had not even about this per se, but he had a post about how Gio did this window, and I think it's like this should put the nail in the coffin as far as where Gio needs to be playing, etc. And somebody in this comment section, I forgot who, but basically said like, "Hey, I still, even though he played well, I was still on the wagon as far as that he should have been banned for a year."
Banned for a year for what?
Then he would have been brought back up for Copa. He actually did mention that he would have been banned for a year for how he acted in the blackmail, is what they said.
Okay. How he acted has been handled.
Yep.
He didn't get to play in the World Cup, you stupid fucking morons. And number two, you don't punish a kid for the sins of his parents. What is so hard to fucking understand about that? I'm not even sure I understand how people can be so limp-minded, so fucking ridiculously, incredibly stupid to think that kids need to pay for the sins of their parents. When does that become a thing?
Yeah.
Is that how we do it now? So daddy and mommy committed a crime, which I wasn't around for. I didn't commit it. But now we're going to throw me in fucking jail along with mommy and daddy for the crime they committed. What are you, a fucking moron? That's not how the world works. That's not how any of this shit works. But boy, do we get so many goddamn idiots posting stuff like that. That the Reynas in general should be banned. Okay, well, ban mom and dad. I can get it. They fucked up. They did something stupid. You cannot put that on Gio. You think Gio was there on the phone with his dad orchestrating their plan to get rid of Gregg? I doubt that very seriously. I'm sure he had nothing to do with that at all. That was his parents making bad parenting decisions. You don't blame that on the kid, the 18 fucking year old kid at the time. I think there are some people in this universe, and I don't know if these are bots or whatever, because I hope they were bots, Brett, but I know they're not bots. I know they're just idiots. They're idiots out there. And I don't know what we can do about it except for push back against them.
So,
yeah.
BMR does paraphrase it better than I said, but he said one guy said Reyna should be suspended for a year to deter parents from blackmailing.
Deter? Oh, so you're going to punish the kid to deter the parents from committing more crimes. In this case, not a crime, by the way, because there was no blackmailing.
Nope.
And every motherfucker should know at this point there was no blackmailing. And the motherfucker who wrote that article for ESPN, who we've mentioned many times on the show, Jeff Carlisle, should have had an explanation on his article why it got edited 100 times after he wrote it. And then he has the nerve to go on Herc and Seb's show and not even fucking explain the whole blackmail shit that his article led to all the other blackmail articles, right? Didn't have the fucking balls to fucking explain and say, hey, man, I'm sorry about that. I took that a little too far. I had to edit it out. And here's why. No, Jeff Carlisle doesn't have a pair of fucking balls because he doesn't have a pair. All right?
Yeah. So
sorry, Jeff, but you don't.
I did pull up. I did pull up a couple of these people that are in here. I mean, obviously, we can just scroll through here. There's obviously a bunch of people that have the same comments, basically saying that he should be removed from U.S. men's national team. Shouldn't play again. Blah blah. I cannot blow it up anymore. I don't think it. No, it's not going to let me zoom out. It's probably easier just to look at them through here. Quite frankly, probably see it closer than just some of these.
There we go. Yeah.
You're not going to see them all though, but they give you the idea.
Kamod should be named Nimrod. Should change his fucking name to Nimrod. Gio Reyna should never play for the U.S. men's national team again. He seems to be a spoiled brat going by his antics. You're a spoiled brat, you prick. During the World Cup and now the parents. If they can't teach him to respect the coach, then he is uncoachable. You little limp dick. Do you always just bend to authority and bend over, grab your ankles, have them lube up with some cocoa butter and ram you up the ass? Because you're a biggest pussy I've ever seen on fucking Twitter. One of the biggest pussies. One of the biggest. That's just, that kind of comment is ridiculous. I mean, this dude has no context of what even happened either. No context. He's a spoiled brat. You sound like a spoiled fucking entitled little fucking brat.
Rat Gang says Gio should never play for the U.S. men's national team ever again. What a pathetic family.
Oh, yeah. Just blame him for the family. Just blame him for mom and dad, Rat Gang. Why don't you bend over with your fucking ankles too and let the authorities and all the establishment just ram you because you sound like you like it too.
BMR, he did mention cocoa butter, so he did talk about the sponsor.
I did. I mentioned it. Wofuggy. I don't think Gio Reyna should ever be allowed to wear a U.S. jersey again. You shouldn't be able to fucking wear a jersey. You are never bigger than the badge on your chest. Disgusting. Okay, so not only did he at Gio Reyna, he added Claudio Reyna. Okay, why don't you just at the parents? Because he didn't do that disgusting part. All right? You're a fucking idiot. He was an 18-year-old kid who misbehaved. He misbehaved. Have you ever been a teacher? No, I have. I've been a high school teacher. So every time one of my students misbehaved, I just banished them. I just said, you're out. You're gone. No, Gregg disciplined him, okay? He had to pay the price. He didn't get to play as much as he thought he was going to get to play. And then the rest of the team embraced him back into it. Who are you to say that that's not what should have happened? If he did something so awful, I'm sure he would have been kicked off the fucking team. Obviously, it wasn't so bad that he needed to be banished into obscurity. Like this stupid fucker says. Yes, you're a stupid fucker. Have we we got one more. Jerry Aldini, Mr. Sensitive Pants, who likes to call all the U.S. soccer fans toxic. Well, how's this for toxic, you fucking cocksucker? Wow, the U.S. fan base is super accepting and not toxic. We're not toxic. When you're dumb and people call you out for being a stupid fucker, there's nothing toxic about that. You need to fucking either apologize or get out of the way. Just get out of the way. And he always says, well, I don't know if I can be a fan of this team anymore because of the fans. Because of the fans? You let the fans decide who you're going to support? No, you support what you support. You put your heart and soul into it. Just because somebody calls you a Nimrod when you are a Nimrod doesn't mean you need to stop supporting the team. And no, we're not toxic. I might sound toxic right now because I'm pissed at motherfuckers like you who won't come out and say, I was wrong. If you said I was wrong, I said a stupid thing, because Brett and I have had to do this on the show. Not very often. We've said we were wrong. You know what? There's nothing wrong with saying you're wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. And none of these cocksuckers will say, I was wrong. They're going to stand by their stupid comments. And I love whoever kept all these receipts. Who kept the receipts?
Rob.
Rob.
Actually, Rob. You found them all.
Thank you, brother.
Now, of course, you can't read all these, but I mean, there's so many more that we didn't actually cover here.
It's endless. It's endless. And so if you're telling me that this wasn't a thing, then you weren't paying attention. If you're out there going, oh, come on, 11 Yanks, come on, man. Nobody was actually complaining about that. Man, the list is, when you were fucking asleep at the wheel when this happened? Were you not paying any attention when this happened? So what's even more annoying than these stupid fuckers who wrote this shit is stupid fuckers who don't even know this shit was written. That's even worse. That makes you a total clown because you're totally unaware. It made it to ESPN fucking radio. They were talking about banning Gio Reyna from the team. Yes, ESPN radio. It also made it to that, can't even remember what his name's, Dan Labatard's show. I watched clips of them talking about whether he should be banned, and one guy was all for it. Ban Gio. So don't tell me. If you didn't know it, then you weren't paying attention to either mainstream press or X, Twitter.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
I will say, I just out of curiosity to see if because a lot of the comments are basically like, oh, if they play Gio again, I'm never watching the United States men's national team ever again, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm curious if some of these people actually stuck to their guns on this.
I hope they did.
So I went into a couple of their accounts just to scroll through their history. And to their credit, I spent 10 minutes going through a couple of them, just scroll. Didn't see a goddamn single soccer post on a lot of them.
Good.
90 is like 90. Mind you, I say 90% of their posts were political. I'm not going to say which way they leaned, because it does vary. It does vary.
Yeah.
But I'll say that they also post a shit ton especially of recent. So, and it's all 99% political. So, and I will say occasionally the soccer stuff I did see predominantly was U.S. women's national team. I'm not saying that they're U.S. women's national team fans, but they were at least posting something about the U.S. teams. So
we won't
maybe
say
they
what.
stuck. Huh?
We won't say what they were posting.
Yeah. Maybe they stuck to their guns. And maybe they stopped supporting the U.S. men's national team.
Or maybe they're down in their parents' basement sucking cock as a second job, because that's would be my guess. I'm sorry.
So
what a bunch of pathetic assholes. Like they don't know how the world works. That's what blows my mind. Like, so if your parents, Brett, were, accused of murdering someone when you were 17 years old, should you pay the price for them being criminals? Should you pay the price?
Probably. Why not?
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. You shouldn't have to pay the price of bad decision-making by your parents. And yeah, okay, I'm sure we were all a little bitch at practice at one point or another when we played soccer. We just had a bad day. We were in a grumpy mood. And maybe Reyna took that too far. But that's not bannable. Not even Gregg would agree with you, you stupid cunts. Gregg doesn't even agree with you. He said it was over. Once it was done, it was over. Well, unfortunately, he went to the immoral leadership conference and he opened the wound that was supposedly over. Oh man, Brett, what really gets me more than anything else is the inability of people to have basic context for how they view a situation. Like just basic moral context of how things are decided. And it's just a horrible thing to realize there are people out there with no moral compass. Brett Oppenheim, $20. Thank you, Brett. Hey, man, we missed you last show, but you're still welcome, and we will schedule something to have you come on.
Heard you had a nice dinner planned.
Yeah, I hope that date went well. You know what I mean. All right, Brett, for $20. I mean, shit, that could be Brett to Brett action for $20 if you meet him halfway. By 2026, our attacking players and midfielders will be deep. MMA, Gio, Weah, Puli, Malik, Koleosho. More of a winger, Koleosho. Paxton. We'll see. What we will need is more D, CCV, Trusty, Is that CR? Would be
Chris
who again?
Richards.
Chris Richards. Others need to become world class or close for us to be elite. You hit the nail on the head there.
I will say though, Brett, I don't need any more D.
Well,
we got enough there.
but he did contribute quite a bit, Brett.
Sure.
So you might have to grab the cocoa butter on that one. You're right, because CCV is great, but he's playing at Celtic. He's playing in Scotland. Trusty just got his first start at Sheffield United. Chris Richards doesn't play a whole lot for Crystal Palace.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. I mean, Tim Ream is getting old. John Brooks is banned.
Yep.
So John Brooks is perfect age. This is like his prime age to be on this team. And unless Tim Ream completely deteriorates and fall apart, and even if he does fall apart, Brett, Oppenheim, I don't think Brooks is going to be ever called up again. I think that's pretty close. We spelled out over the span of this show why. And good post.
Yeah. Our defensive center back options definitely need some beefing up over the next couple of years.
I mean, we got decent ones. We just don't have any world-class ones. And with EPB falling apart in Greece and not even being a regular starter there and then getting injured again, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with EPB. And then you still got Zimmerman hanging around. So I'm sure he's going to still be sniffing Gregg's nuts as we head into 2026. We do know Aaron Long's gone for sure. So that's good. But no offense to Aaron Long, but he never deserved to be there in the first place, not since its injury. So,
and again, remember by center back standards, our backs are pretty young, relatively speaking.
I mean, there is a chance Chris Richards could be a starter next year for Crystal Palace.
Yep.
So it could happen. I know there were a lot of people after at least one of the two center backs that they have. There were teams higher up the table sniffing out those players and saying, I wonder if we could buy one of those guys. And if that happens, then he will be a starter for Crystal Palace. But he's going to need to play better than he did against Germany. That was not good.
Again, thanks, Brett, for the 20. Appreciate that.
We do appreciate it, man.
So I pulled up this little screen cap because somebody on Twitter had asked, like, posted this video of, posted the all touches video by Reyna.
Yeah.
I was like, how did Reyna even see Lund at the 18-second marker? So I went there to take a look, and it's that play where Lund starts to make his run, but Musa didn't make the pass. So he had to kind of cut back, and then Reyna makes a one-touch, whoop.
Oh, yeah. That was a great pass.
Catches him.
Yeah.
And the reason why, and this is something that he does expertly over compared to a lot of our players, especially in our midfield and our depth and everything like that, is he's already calculating 1-2 steps in advance. He knows exactly where he wants to go. As you can see in the screen cap, he's already looking forward. He's looking at Balogun probably first, looking Pulisic, but in his peripheral, he can see Lund. He sees Lund's wide open.
Well, look who Pulisic pulled in, the right back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the ball comes over, and he just does a one-touch chip over the defense, and Lund's in behind.
One of a few beautiful chips he made in that game.
But yeah, so I think this encapsulates why we need Reyna in the lineup. And some people are still questioning, like, well, do we need to play him because he has defensive liabilities?
He didn't look that defensively.
He doesn't. I mean,
he's inept to me.
He's not going to be he's not going to be incredibly defensively sound. But he applies pressure. He still comes back. He still breaks up plays. But he's definitely in there for the offensive reasoning. I mean, his abilities play with the ball.
Can I ask people this?
Sure, can.
Do you want to watch pretty soccer that leads to goals? Goals. Or do you want to watch tiki-taka horseshoe passing for fucking 90 minutes with minimal goals, minimal opportunities, crosses galore that lead to nothing?
Yeah.
If that's what you want to watch, stick with Gregg's 4-3-3 if that's what you want and you like. If you want to watch beautiful soccer, creativity, and stuff that we saw against Ghana, and I know everybody's like, oh, Ghana sucks. Ghana's ranked 60th in the world. It's the lowest they've been in a long time. They, on paper, however, if you looked at their team on paper and where their players play, are a really good team. They're just not a very disciplined team. And I don't think that the coach has got that shit all together. But you can't just say, well, okay, great. But didn't Reyna just totally demolish the Mexican national team almost single-handedly in Nations League? In Nations League? Yes, he did.
Let's go to the super chat and then I'll pull up the stats for Reyna's.
Okay. The ski sounds like a hitman you could hire. Hey man, you need you need to get rid of that dude. You need to call the ski.
He only takes gigs up in the northern part of Canada though.
I think so. Wherever snow is.
Maybe in Denver.
Denver. Yeah, he's a hitman in Denver.
Very isolated where I can go, guys.
Thank you for the $20 and the extra cent, because that means Brett will add a little extra of the.
He did just respond. He goes, "Well played."
Just to say, I contributed more than Brett, our favorite soccer celeb. Also, Gio is a missed start. Any other must? I think he means must. Yes. Gio is a must start. Any other option is just Gregg being hard-headed. Yeah, dude, do not underestimate how hard-headed Gregg is.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fact that they came out in a 4-2-3-1 took a lot of effort by BJ Callahan to make that happen.
I think I got rid of this. Okay. Yeah, the screen cap that I showed is, like I said, an indication of why we need him there. I'm going to see if I can find it.
You're talking about Gio?
Yeah. While I'm looking for something, I'm looking for a page because I guess I got rid of it. I'm going to pull this up and let you take this one real quick.
I'm sorry. Nope.
Oh, sorry. You get back to that.
I'm sorry, but has anyone seen Christopher Lund put a single foot wrong for the U.S. men's national team yet? I'm really liking the idea of him and Jedi as our lefties. Yeah, I mean, I have seen people say they weren't really impressed with Lund. One of them being Alexi Lawless. I didn't think that he did that bad, or I don't think he did poorly. I think he was rather good, actually. I think he was rather conscious of his duties while still getting forward multiple times during the game. Listen, everybody fell apart in the second half when we went to a 4-3-3. Everyone looked worse. I can't blame that just on Christopher Lund.
Well, again, I don't think he had a foot, as he said, a single foot wrong.
No, he didn't.
Even in that second half where we kind of got overrun a bit, he was fine. He was clean on the defense. He got up in the attack. I guess I have to go back and take a look to see what his crossing was like, but it's got to be better than Jedi's crossing.
You can mark my words. It won't be this window, maybe, but it will be next. Christopher Lund is not going to be playing at Palermo.
Oh no,
for very much longer.
Unless they get promoted.
Because left backs in general are a rare commodity.
It's true.
Every team is dying to sign a solid left back. He doesn't look like a Serie B left back to me. He looks like a Serie A left back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
So no, that it's anybody who's saying, again, I can't see anything that in the games that we played. Now, of course, we had the previous window, which was Uzbekistan, Oman. Yeah. Oh well. I mean, he looked good against them. Great. We all did. But yeah, against Ghana, he looked good. He looked solid. Again, I know that Ghana's interest in the game waned as the match persisted, but he didn't do anything really wrong. So I can't fault him anywhere and say well, I think we need to see what Jones can do at right or left back before we start contemplating what Lund is a viable backup to Jedi.
No, I think Lund just Jones's chances going forward.
Well, I mean,
So-
he's a solid left-footed left back.
Correct.
So,
Jones is not. He's a right-footed left back.
so yeah, no, it was a silly argument to have. This is the stats page I wanted to pull up here, though.
Wait,
Wow,
Reyna.
these last four games that these players played together. And this is so remember, this is Nations League, Mexico and Canada, and then these last two games because he wasn't here for last window against Uzbekistan and Oman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's impressive. I mean, these are the main dudes. There is no doubt about it. And the good news is that the dudes that are not main dudes, but like just a step behind them are Musa playing for AC Milan, McKennie playing for Juventus. So, Jedi plays for Fulham. Generally, Des playing for PSV, doing really well. And if we could just get Tillman back as a backup to fucking Reyna, man, we got a solid fucking squad, except for the CBs. Mm-hmm. The CBs are my concern. They got to grow. Like Richards got to grow. CCV's got to get the fuck out of Scotland.
Yeah.
And go prove himself in the Premiership. Trusty needs to start getting some serious playing time for Sheffield United, which I don't see why he wouldn't, because they've been fucking god awful without him, and they actually look better with him. So yeah, there's some work to be done with CBs because you can't play. The chances of Tim Ream making it to 2026 are about 10%. Honestly, I love me some Tim Ream. We have been the biggest Tim Ream supporters. We've taken a lot of shit over it over the years, especially back in the big soccer days with our good friend. But yeah. Chuck. I thought Reyna was Rapino there for a second. Oh, because of the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Derek.
Yeah.
Let's zoom out a little bit here. Which player's heat map is this?
Horvath's. Did I get it right?
Chris Gray said Paredes.
Oh, shit. Well, he got some
I
minutes.
said Horvath.
That is Horvath-like.
Yeah.
But
And Chris agreed with me. He goes, that's the correct answer.
Yeah, because Kevin Paredes did play 15 minutes against Germany.
Yeah.
So, not fair. Honestly, I think Gregg just wanted to try out as many guys as possible. And I think almost everyone got some playing time. Some.
Yeah.
Except for Horvath, I believe.
This window?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of
Zendejas.
Zendejas, that's another guy who didn't get any. Okay.
Yeah.
But I thought everyone got a peek for the most part.
Zendejas is like, after Gold Cup, I'm just happy to be here, guys.
No, seriously, he was happy to be called back up, honestly.
Yeah.
Because listen, people, you can be hard on Zendejas, but nobody's harder on Zendejas than Zendejas.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He ripped himself to shreds in private, which we know from behind the scenes. There might have been some reports about that. I think Gregg might have mentioned that they had to say, hey, dude, you're being way too hard on yourself. Yeah, you had a not great game. Or no, that was BJ who said that.
Yeah.
He said, dude, yeah, we had to calm him down because he was killing himself over the game.
So, yeah, and there's a part of me that's thinking, obviously Zendejas is having a rebound at his club career right now. He's bounced back from the Gold Cup, and he's had pretty decent performances with Club America.
He's comfortable there.
There's a part of me that thinks so after having the solid Club America performance there, that he got brought back in immediately after the Gold Cup. Not immediately, I guess he had that one window against Uzbekistan and Oman, but now, due to his chemistry with several of the players.
Oh,
just playing in the youth levels. You had Pulisic. We saw the one with Weston. Weston
Right.
had the little interview with him, and that was during Nations League, I think.
Right.
But so there's definitely an argument to be made that some players may be included simply because, not only because they're decent enough talents, but because of the chemistry they have having played with these players for a long number of time. And the reason I bring this up is basically because of the chemistry involved across the board on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody seems to be getting along with everybody. Everybody's enjoying each other's presence. there was that whole concern about Pulisic and Reyna whenever Reyna first came back during Nations League. That was either overblown or has been washed away.
Yeah.
They are more than happy, playing with each other on the field, guys. Come on. Keep a mind out of the gutter, guys. Come on.
I think and even my mom texted me that. She's like, yeah, those two guys talk to each other a lot. They look like they really like each other. And I said, yeah, I think whatever bullshit there was about there being this conflict between the two is long gone. It's long gone. So
I'm just showing a couple of the players who have Instagrams that have posted stuff, and you just see a bunch of the players constantly commenting on their posts.
Yeah,
all showing support. Here's one of the bromances between Pulisic and Reyna now. That's nice. And Pulisic was the one who posted it. So, like I said, either overblown or washed.
Don't you think in some ways Pulisic's a little relieved? Like,
some pressure's taken off his back.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just imagine
he looks happier too.
Yeah.
On the pitch.
Just imagine it. You're Captain America. Everybody's like Pulisic. Well, now there's another guy on the team who's a complete fucking potential world-class baller. Who's going to take a little of that. You don't have to do all the work. And we saw him, Pulisic versus Ghana, not take all the responsibility. In fact, it was Reyna who took the quarterback position completely and decided that how the tempo we were going to play at. And it's just got to be a relief for that guy. He's not the only superstar on this team. And fucking Weah, the way he played, I guess a lot of people might start thinking maybe there's 3 superstars on this team the way he played last game. And then Dest, despite all you can say about his defense, if that guy isn't the biggest goddamn monster going forward and dribbling past like 5 players, I mean, the guy's sick. He's sick when he's at his best. He's absolutely sick. So no, none of these guys are what I would call world-class Messi, Ronaldo guys, or whatever you want to call. But they're pretty fucking good. They're pretty goddamn good. And I think Reyna, as a midfielder, is obviously not going to be Messi or Ronaldo because those guys are more attacking players. But as a field general, I mean, he can get up there, man. He can get up there, and maybe we'll see what happens at Dortmund this season. I don't have much faith where he is right now with Dortmund because I think the coach, the manager, is very comfortable being extremely conservative. And that's how they like to play.
Whatever. If he continues to get some like 20, 30 minutes a game or whatever, just to build up his stock. And then come winter time, they sell him, or summer, hopefully before summer. But, if an offer comes and they accept at the point, and he goes to a club that actually wants to play him, I'd be more than happy there.
I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, at this point, Brett, if this continues and he's only getting 15, 20 minutes a game at Dortmund, I think, he's got to think about at least getting a loan.
Moving on. Yeah.
At least getting a loan for the second half of the season, going someplace where he's going to play every fucking game. But then, you know what comes right into my mind? Right after I hear about Reyna playing every single game and starting every single game? Injuries.
Well, he's only had one injury was not self-inflicted, but his body gave out. The other one was somebody taking a baseball bat to his shin.
Yeah, that's true. I still worry, though. I'm a worry wart.
Sure. Same thing happened with Pulisic. Pulisic had a series of injuries, and now he's at AC Milan playing every game. He's doing well.
Remember when we had our group of all our buddies, soccer buddies, and I told them that Morris was going to be injury prone? I had a feeling in my bones. And they were like, oh, shut up, man. He's had a couple injuries. No big deal. And then it came true. Like sometimes I can feel it. I don't feel it with Reyna. Thankfully, I don't feel that that's going to be the case. I just worry anyhow.
Sure.
just worried.
Well, I think you're more worried about him than like Morris or other players in that sense because of who he is for the team.
Well, at the time, Morris was at Werder Bremen for a tryout, right? So I was kind of thinking that Morris might develop into something spectacular if he stayed in Germany. But he didn't.
Jumping back to the Pulisic feeling relieved that Gio's in there taking a little bit more control as well. All last cycle, I know you talked about it a bunch of times, but what was the difference between like last cycle Pulisic and the 2018 cycle Pulisic, where he scored something like 7 goals and had 6 assists or whatever during that run? Big difference is that the team wasn't reliant on Pulisic, and Pulisic can get in those lanes. They're more concerned about all the other players, and Pulisic was just quick enough and fast enough to get around the players, get past them. Balls come in, he scores a goal. Same thing's happening now, where he's able to just relax and chill a little bit more out wide, and then make himself apparent on those big plays,
or make himself a decoy like he did with that still screen that you had.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big factor when last cycle when Pulisic was healthy, that he was trying to do a little bit too much constantly, and that's maybe because he didn't feel that there was another creative option available to him that could do the stuff that Reyna's doing now.
Yeah,
we didn't have it. Our midfield was MMA, and as serviceable as they are, and they're solid in what they do, creativity is not their strength.
No, it's just that midfield is not going to be creative. Moose is not creative. Sorry, he's not. He's good at certain things. McKennie can make the cross pass. He can make the wide pass. He can switch fields really good. Does he have the vision of a Gio Reyna to see the whole field and see where the vulnerabilities are of the opponent? No, he just doesn't have that same IQ, soccer IQ. Like his IQ is really good, but he's just a different player altogether, right?
Yeah.
He's a box-to-box guy. Reyna is a central attacking midfielder, which brings me to this, if you have it, the Lawless piece. Because we're running.
Yes, I do have it, and I'll pull it up in just a second. I did want to pull this picture up real quick.
Okay. We're running out of time here.
I know, that's why I'm saying quick.
Yeah.
Of Chris Richards leaving the pitch from Ghana.
Oh, yeah.
It was, I didn't see it during the game, but apparently enough people saw it and they took screen caps of it after Chris got subbed out with a 72nd minute. And comes over, gives everybody high fives, and then Berhalter gives him a high five, and Berhalter says something to him and kind of gives this weird look. I want you to describe what this looks like.
Looks like he's taking a shit.
It's like, it's
like what
are you talking about?
What you talking about?
Yeah, good one, Greg. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it could just be that there's a light behind Gregg and he's kind of like squinting because it's bright. It was a funny enough photo that people pulled it up and they're like, wait a second, what is he saying to him? And people are like, caption this photo and stuff like that. So
maybe he said something like, "Man, you are a real African dog tonight."
Yeah.
He's like, "What you just say? What you just fucking say, motherfucker? What you just say?" I don't know, man. It could be like maybe Chris Richards didn't know that he was coming out. Like this was an unplanned.
That's what Brian's saying. Why are you taking me out?
Unplanned sub. Yeah. So whenever there's a sub,
Chris, you looked like you may have pulled a hammy. That's why I subbed you out. He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, looked like you were getting tired, or something like, "Oh, you look like you were a little tired there." He's like, "What the fuck?" He farted last night's Taco Bell. Yeah, something like that for sure.
All right,
Lawless.
Let's
348. I sometimes think that Lawless is living in the same world that Gregg
348,
lives in.
right?
Yeah, 348. I sometimes think he's living in the same world. Even though Mossy brings this up and says this is Reyna's best position, fucking Lawless will not admit it. It's just fucking unbelievable to me. But go ahead, play.
Decision on Berhalter's part to start Gio in both games in that number 10 in a 4-2-3-1 formation.
Well, maybe it's because Gregg Berhalter, like us, when we asked this question as to who should he start over, and I talked to our friend Stu Holden about it, and where are you going to play Gio Reyna? At a certain point, if you can't get him on the field starting over Timothy Weah or Christian Pulisic, then you have to find a way. And maybe ultimately it's not his best position, but it's the one that actually fits for this national team.
What did he just say? Maybe it's not his best position? What is this dude watching? What is he paying attention to? Yeah, we played a 4-2-3-1 so we could squeeze Reyna into the 10. What are you fucking smoking, dope? This obviously the whole fucking fan base has been crying out loud for this. For how long? Do you listen, Lawless? Do you even listen to any of us? Do you listen to any of the fans or supporters? There are thousands and thousands of us been crying out for Reyna to start as a 10. Is this guy completely have his head so jammed up Berhalter's ass that he can't see this?
Well, I like how we all got lumped in as a. That's what maybe Greg was trying to answer when we ask questions like this. He may have been just referring to the media itself. But I feel like that's more of like a general, the royal we, if you will. Like there's a bunch of us saying like, well, geez, if he can't play over Pulisic or way out wide, well, I guess we might as well just stick him in the midfield.
I mean, you listen to that and just think, what are you watching, dude? What team have you been fucking? This is your goddamn job. This is what you do for a fucking living? And Mossy is kicking your ass. He's kicking your ass on the fucking technical part of the game. He knows this game better than you do, and you played it. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. I'm just blown away by his ignorance.
I'll play a little devil's advocate and side with Lex on one thing. Maybe he's thinking, well, at Dortmund, he plays a lot of the left wing option for them in their 4-3-3.
He plays
he
plays right. Yeah.
And then when he plays for Berhalter, he's always played out the wing. So if he's just getting pushed aside on the wing and we need to get our best players in the pitch, we might as well figure out a way to squeeze them into that middle.
Even though it's not his best position?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Brett. This is just seriously, what fucking world is this guy living in when it's very clear Mossy knows what's going on? Like, Mossy's got it. He's got this shit down. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows what happened. And this guy's pretending like, oh, it's just a mystery. I guess we had to squeeze him in somewhere. No, everybody's been calling for that, dude. Everyone in their mother has been fucking texting and writing Gregg Berhalter and U.S. Soccer and Betty Crocker and saying, get this goddamn formation, a 4-2-3-1 on there so this guy can do his shit as a 10. Make him a 10. Give him free reign to go wherever he needs to go to make this goddamn thing work and be creative.
Sorry, maybe it's just the camera he's got and everything like that. But since Qatar, does it seem like Lawless is like aged like 10 years?
Not only is he aged, but his camera's got cocoa butter spread all over the fucking camera screen because he's blurry as fuck.
No one for talking there, Derek. Come on.
Hey, I'm clearer than that. I am way clearer than that. All right, we better finish this up with.
Do you have any more Lawless, or are we going to the next one?
We're going to. This is it for Lawless. That was it. All right.
That's all you wanted to, hit whatever. Yeah. So just moving on to the Berhalter, huh?
We're gonna move on to Berhalter, and I'm not even gonna waste my time with the first two because it's gibberish. It's just Gregg saying, oh, we need to move forward. We need to make progress. Every step. This is always a step forward. That's what we're trying to do is take a step forward and make progress. We're trying to get better. We're trying to get better. We're trying to make progress. We're trying to take a step forward. Every game is a step forward. We're trying to take a step forward and make progress. Fuck you and shut the fuck up. Dude, stop talking in just gibberish words. Like, tell us where we made progress. Tell us where you think we made progress. Don't use just giant generalities. You can't give us one or two things that you think we did better. God, this guy's impossible to listen to, and I know why Diego falls asleep when we play this part.
The other stuff he was partaking in probably helped too. But yeah, it was like I said on Monday's show, it definitely killed my buzz.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean, well, you couldn't hear it for half of it.
For part of it, yeah.
Hopefully you can hear it tonight.
I guess I do want to. I know we have the title saying, Reyna soars, Gregg ignores why.
Yeah.
And then maybe that can seem like a kind of a negative spin on Berhalter this window, but I guess I do want to just make a point that we generally do harp on Berhalter a lot, but I thought he had a pretty solid window.
Yeah, for first halves.
Pretty much for first halves, yeah. He didn't have an option for Reyna coming out, did he?
No.
Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do.
No option for when Reyna left, both games fell apart.
Yeah.
So
could you could he have, in order to fix that solution, like we talked about McKinney coming in as more or less a Reyna replacement, but still having the double pivot still, and he has less defensive responsibilities. But couldn't you have brought in somebody like Aronson or Paredes and pushed Pulisic into that 10 role?
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
Again, they're different players completely, but he's still, receiving the ball and dribbling. I mean,
I'd say the difference between Pulisic and Reyna is when Pulisic gets the ball, his head is down. A lot more than Reyna's. Reyna's head is up. Like Reyna.
The screen cap I show is indicating that. Always looking around before he even gets the ball.
Right. So, that's the difference between Reyna and Pulisic is Reyna is always 2 steps ahead, while Pulisic is great as a one-on-one guy. He might see 1 step ahead, but not 2. And but Pulisic has got incredible quickness and speed. Obviously, Reyna isn't that quick, but boy, is he crafty. He is crafty.
It's like he's not quick, but man, he you mentioned this earlier. He glides through that
field. He does.
He covers so much ground, and you're sitting there going, he's not running that fast. How's he doing that?
He is actually pretty fast. He's just not
he's got a big frame though. I mean, he's like 6'1"?
He's 6'1". Yeah.
So I mean, he's probably got a decent gallop. He's probably not sprint fast, but he's covers the ground.
Yeah, I don't know if he's sprint fast, but he's not slow. And he isn't quick side to side, but he is quick-witted. He already knows where he's going to go before the ball hits his foot. So
Daniel says, I don't think it's Reyna. I think it's the U.S. men's national team is not a second half team.
Daniel.
It's possible. It's possible. Well, it's possible that they came out flat-footed in both second halves after going into the halftime, and the other team came out stronger. But I think a lot of it does stem with Gio not being the general, like you dubbed him earlier. He's not out there orchestrating. Against Germany, we had a flat middle 3 with McKinney, Musa, and then Luka came in. It was literally a flat 3, and we just got overrun. It wasn't until Luka kind of pushed up into that more or less Reyna type role, like that, just a higher up and not necessarily checking back so far, that it kind of reopened back up for us. But so I think it was just a change of tactics and change of formation to start off each second half.
And you're changing personnel, and that's never good for chemistry.
Yeah, but there wasn't a lot of change at the halftime. Usually it's just Reyna and maybe one other person.
That's
enough.
It's enough. You're not only changing personnel, you're changing formation, and you're going back to Gregg ball. So if you don't think it's Reyna, dude, I'd go back and watch both games. I think you missed something there, Daniel.
Well, and it's not. Well, I mean, it's possible that, again, maybe we came out flat-footed with the formation change. Maybe if Reyna was still in there, it wouldn't have made any difference. We don't know. We'll have to wait until we see another match where he's in there for the full match.
No,
we saw what he did against Mexico.
Yeah, we did.
So I mean, it's.
I mean, I don't know how much evidence you need. He played versus Mexico.
Yeah.
We destroyed Mexico. And not only did we destroy Mexico, we looked like we were 10 levels above Mexico. Mexico looked intimidated by us and scared to play against us. I've never seen that in my lifetime, ever. And it was why? Because Gio Reyna was on the field, and they were fucking intimidated by what he could possibly deliver, because at games before he already dribbled through half the team. Right?
Yeah.
No, it is Reyna. Reyna does make that difference, and I'm hoping that if Reyna is injured, Tillman can make that creative difference. You got to understand, Reyna is the creativity. Tillman brings creativity. Name me other player on the field who has that gift.
Well, and I mentioned this during a tax stream after the Germany game, that it almost seemed like Germany was giving us a lot of respect when Gio was on the pitch.
Absolutely.
Obviously, they're familiar with him, and they
Yep.
know what he can do. They can open up. They know Pulisic well enough.
Yep.
They probably know enough of Flo just from his time in France, but more like those two guys, just Pulisic and Reyna. And they it seemed like they were almost giving us a little bit more respect, and they had the opportunity to run rampant. Once Gio came off, at that point the respect was removed.
Oh, it's gone.
And they just ransacked for 2 straight goals, and then we woke up and changed some things.
And we changed formation like we did the other time too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, if you don't believe it's Reyna, that's fine. But I would urge you to go back and watch the Mexico Nations League final. Was that the final? What's the final?
Semi. We played Canada in the final.
That was even easier. And then go ahead and
Canada.
watch 5 players deep. And then go back and watch the Germany first half and the last game that we just played against Ghana first half. Listen, it's remarkable. It's remarkably different. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And you can't just say, "Oh, that's not Reyna." I mean, how do you watch those games and not just follow Reyna around during the games? Just put a little dot on his head and watch what he does. You will quickly figure it out. As Go Blue says, Go Blue 1084 for $2 says Gio's our best player. People need to get over it. Yeah, I mean, he and Pulisic are definitely the best 2 players we've got, but we've also got Balogun now, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got other quality players like McKennie and Musa and Weah. It's looking really good up top. And with Jedi and Dest, it's looking really good out wide and in the defense. But yeah, it's the center back position that concerns me. So
I guess just to put a nail in that coffin as far as that discussion was concerned, I think Gio made a massive difference coming off the pitch. I also think we did come out flat in that second half against Germany. Going to that back to that Berhalter ball, almost went flat. We went flat by going flat.
Yep.
So it's a combination of things, but I think Gio is the biggest factor.
I do, because without Gio, you can't play. You could try, but McKennie ain't Gio. That's
the problem. The problem was that McKennie didn't even play the role that Gio was playing, though. So that's
he
still
didn't.
the problem.
And if, like I said, if you asked him to do it, he couldn't do it the same way. There's no way. Gio not only controlled the tempo of that game many times, but I mean, he was the field general. I mean, he went wherever he wanted to go to relieve pressure at some points and gain possession, and other times just to reset the offense, offensive attack.
So I think Berhalter here has been listening to our conversation, and his mouth went like this, goes like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't think of that." And he is doing this right here to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah. Yep.
Gotta work on that jaw strength a little bit. All right, where are we going in this thing, man?
So let's go skip over a couple of them, because, the only time I did have it at 241 because he calls the substitution solutions again, which is just so fucking annoying.
Hopefully he brought his orange slices too, right?
And yeah, they asked
orange
him,
slice, my Capri Sun. I don't want to be called a substitution.
I mean, he literally says, I think the solutions came in and did a good job. The solutions? Seriously?
Who put him onto that again? I forgot.
I don't know. It's one of his
Was
immoral.
it Gooch? Did Gooch say it?
Maybe. I thought it was one of his immoral leadership dudes, but I wouldn't know.
Mm.
But at 355, I think this is really funny because the Ghana press gets to ask him questions.
Oh.
And I believe he calls one of the Ghanaian players the boy. The boy.
No.
Yeah, dude, he does. Check it out.
Incredible performance today. How will you rate the performance of the Ghanaian team as well as the coach? Because most of the fans in Ghana are so pissed. But how personally will you rate the performance of the Ghanaian team?
They're pissed. The
No, yeah,
fans.
I have to say, you know, and I'm not going to comment on the coach. That's not
Of
my
course
job.
not.
That's
Yeah.
my style.
That's
anyway. But
fair,
what
though.
I would say
You can't do
is,
that.
It'd be a dick move.
being down 4-0 at halftime,
Yeah.
Ghana had a choice. Right, they could have mailed in the second half and
Which
they
they
could have
did.
lost 8-0, but they didn't do that. They kept fighting to the last minute of the game. You see the
I think
boy
he's
tried
being
to
nice.
shoot from half field, trying to get
Kinda.
a goal, trying to do
Oh,
something.
there was
And
the
you know, I
boy.
think the lost 8-0, but they didn't do that. They kept fighting to the last minute of the game. You see the boy tried to shoot from half field.
There
trying
it
to get a
was.
goal, trying to
Is
do
it the
something.
boy?
And you know,
I don't
think
know.
that's
Is that a
mark
player's
of
name?
a team that's still fighting. And so, you know, okay, they didn't play a great half, but they didn't give
I
up.
hope
And that's,
so.
that's an important quality that a
'Cause
team
you
shows.
do not call grown men boys. Anyhow, no one else is going to catch that. I did. I'm like, man, he just called him a boy. Is there a player named a boy?
No, not really. Here, maybe I'm just not pronouncing some of these properly. I don't know.
I don't know. I heard that. And it's like, you just call one of the fucking
Okay, I do.
Ghanaian players a boy, the boy. I'm like, okay, well, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, there's I don't maybe there's a first name that he's going off of. Maybe like I don't know what's Vince's first name.
I don't know.
You can't even see it. I don't even pulled up. Hold on one sec.
Maybe
Me,
somebody else knows, but I just found that like, did he just say call him a boy? Like I haven't heard that for a while.
So I mean, there's no last name that sounds like that.
You'd have to blow it up.
Oh,
Kudus, Pencil, Mensa, Apoku. Sadu? No, that's not a boy. Yeah, I don't know who.
I almost wonder like if it's Mince's first name. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
Mince's first name is Gideon. That's.
I don't.
But then they're the subs.
Is it Adoy? Is there a guy named Adoy? Go back up.
Is there a Du Bois?
There's no Du Bois. A do? Is that a do? That's not even close.
I don't know. I'm sure he didn't call the guy a boy. I'm sure he didn't say, yeah, the boy.
I don't know, dude.
Maybe he meant to say the boys. I don't know. Talking about the entire team. I don't know.
Their nutsack?
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyhow, weird. We can move on to the next one. It's just 445. This is this dude for the last two interviews who's been like, yeah, so Greg, you played this 4-2-4, and it's like awesome. That's really awesome. I really like your 4-2-4.
You said 445?
445, yeah.
The team shows.
Come on, dude. Get
Hi,
the
Coach.
question
Jake
out.
Fenner, Daily Mail.
Hey, Jake.
Jake
the
Fenner.
4-2-4 worked
Here
pretty
we go.
well against Germany. Didn't exactly produce the result that maybe the U.S. hoped, but it worked really well today.
4-2-4.
4 goals in a great outburst. You saw a lot of people going forward.
Oh,
Is this a kind of tactic that you're going to use situationally, or is this alluding to that grand vision of changing soccer in America forever? Is that
Shut the fuck
4-2-4
up.
kind of
Shut the fuck up.
the physical
What?
embodiment of that idea?
It's the 4-2-4.
Even he's laughing
The physical embodiment. It's the 4-2-4, the physical embodiment of what you're going for. Are you fucking joking? Are these the fucking jokers we got asking this question? First, he's saying it's a 4-2-4, like he's goddamn sure it's a 4-2-4, which it wasn't. It was a 4-2-3-1. And Greg doesn't correct him. So, I don't know.
Greg's probably sitting there with the same mentality of saying, we're talking about formations. Come on. I think we've lost the plot if we're talking about formations here.
Yeah, well.
Look at that Joker smile he's got going on there. Like, seriously. No, the 4-2-4 didn't work against Germany. Now, you can kind of make that argument because
That it was.
Reyna kind of sat up there with Flo
Right.
The entire half, more or less.
4-2-2-2.
Against Ghana, he played much deeper. Much deeper.
He went wherever he wanted.
Yeah. So I mean, it's insane. Even if USSF came out and said, "Hey, press, we played a 4-2-4 today." No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep. But Berhalter responds.
Oh, good.
Good question. No, I wouldn't get too
Good
carried away with
question.
formation because, again, to me, it's just
You just talk about.
it
Don't worry about the
reflects
formation.
The opponent, it reflects shape that we think can prevent can prevent the opponent from hurting us. And offensive shape always looks different than that, right? So I don't think we get hung up on exactly what the formation looks like, but I think it's more about the combination play, the attacking play, the dynamic play that you saw today is what we're aspiring for. And then again, reflecting on the Germany game is, we can't concede like we did the amount of chances.
The point being that he won't admit it.
Yep.
He won't say that Gio got to play a 10.
James says, forget the I1 part. He does correct it later on, but he goes, a 4-2-4 would require 2 strikers.
2 strikers. Yeah,
So-
I mean, what we really played in the first game, if you really want to get down to brass taxes, was a 4-2-2-1-1.
More or less.
Kind of, for the most part.
I mean, he never got back in the defense. He always stayed up there right with Balogun for the most part. Maybe just in front of.
Second striker. Yep.
Yeah.
Second striker role.
This is just silly. I mean, it's a silly thing for us to kind of pick apart, but it's silly in the sense that they don't want to flat out state that he's playing as an attacking midfielder.
No, they don't want to say it.
And there's no brilliant change here. Is this the formation you were hinting at? It's going to change the way America
Oh my god.
do soccer or whatever the fuck it was. It would change a lot of our opinions if he flat out said this is a 4-2-3-1. We're playing with a more or less an attacking midfielder, Cam 10, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Right.
This specific player does not have that many defensive responsibilities. So we're going to be playing with a double pivot back here. It's going to offer stability while our backs get up, et cetera, et cetera. You can say that shit. And you'd have a little more respect than saying, it's formation. We're going to talk about formations. Don't worry about the formation.
Yeah, don't fucking Jimmy Conrad me from 2012, all right? We've already settled that with Jimmy, and Jimmy's changed his mind. Formations do matter because assignments matter, and roles change when you change formations. And to say that this was a 4-2-4 and let that pass, which he doesn't later, thankfully,
does he correct it later?
He barely. We're about to move to that. And that is 12:15. It took him 12 fucking minutes to do it. But yeah, 12:15.
Last fucking question of the show, apparently. Jesus.
Right.
Goals, and besides the goals, it was how he brings players into the attack. How
you said 12:50, right?
Is able
15.
to be calm on the ball.
15.
Gives us that.
Yep.
I was gonna say, wait a second, we're in the middle of an answer here.
There it is.
Into Gio's performance and also how you deployed him and kind of how the players and the relationships fit into the shape. Because I know you like the 4-3-3, but it looks a little different nowadays. And I just wonder how you factor what are the risks and the rewards of using him and kind of making everything work as well as possible in the attack.
Thank you, whoever that was.
Yeah, I like it because it's an open-ended question. It's like, hey, how did you utilize him?
Yes.
And then you're going to rely on Gregg to give an answer. But you're not going to just flat out say, came out with another 4-2-4.
4-2-4.
The dumbbell, if you will.
Can we rewind back and see who that was? Because I want to give them props for asking a detailed question.
Legacy with the men's national team.
Here we go.
Last question comes from Charlie Bone.
Charlie Bone! Well done, Charlie.
Greg, congrats. I wanted to get a little more insight into Gio's performance and also how you deployed him and kind of how the players and the relationships fit into the shape. Because I know you like the 4-3-3, but it looks a little different nowadays. And I just wonder how you factor what are the risks and the rewards of using him and kind of making everything work as well as possible in the attack.
I thought Gio was really, really good today. And perhaps man of the match type performance. We gave it to Serginho because he played 90 minutes and he was also really dynamic in his actions. But Gio got 2 goals, and besides the goals, it was how he brings players into the attack, how he is able to be calm on the ball, gives us that calm and the poise that we need at times, but then is decisive when making final passes.
Which you would never get if you played him in his strongest position out wide for Pulisic or Weah, right?
Yeah, let's play.
I don't know how you're going to make those final decisive passes if you're playing him so high up and out wide.
Yeah, he might as well sit around and pick his nose or his asshole waiting for the ball to come to him. But in this situation, because he played at CAM, he could go and get involved anywhere on the pitch. He thought it was appropriate for him to get. And you're putting that trust in a 19, 20-year-old kid who knows the game, dude. This kid knows where he needs to be to help the play move forward. It's amazing. This kid's amazing.
Yep. All right, this is conversation, I guess.
And to me, this performance was just really an indicator of his entire camp. He had, as I said before, he had a very strong camp, great mindset, great trainings, training sessions. And to me, it's not only offensive stuff that he did tonight. It's more what he did off the ball. I think relentless work. We talked about that before the game. Relentless work rate defensively, and he certainly did that. So I think it was a good step for us in midfield today. We went with 2 and then 1. Gio a little bit higher. But
there he goes. He just admitted it.
Whoa!
He just said it. We went with 2 with Gio. We went with 2 and 1 with Gio being a little higher. Holy shit!
Yeah.
He just admitted we played a 4-2-3-1. He just admitted it, but he's not going to say it. He's not going to say we played a 4-2-3-1 because the clown who's like, "Hey man, you played that 4-2-4 again. That was rocking." Didn't watch the game apparently, or doesn't know much about soccer. Because that's not what happened out there. And we were all hoping and praying that we were watching a 4-2-3-1 in the first game against Germany, but then upon second watch, you're like, oh shit, we just played fucking Reyna as a second striker. What the fuck? That's not what I wanted. No wonder he never came back and connected the back of the first third with the front third. He never got to do that in that game. This game he did. He got to do whatever the fuck he wanted, honestly.
Yeah.
He was all over the field. So, okay. Times are changing, I guess, Brett. And maybe this is a subtle, BJ was right comment. A subtle one. It isn't much because he's still saying, formations aren't that important. It's not. It's really about
what are you gonna do? It's practically what we did last cycle. We just have a different third midfielder in there.
It's more about my system. That's what's important here. It's not really about the formation. It's about my system. If we can get past that, Greg, if we can just get past that with you, then yeah. I know somebody else put something up. You put it up briefly. It's like a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. Who gives a shit as long as Reyna's in there? It does matter, my friend, because formations change the way you play, James. It really seriously does. You can call a 4-2-3-1 a 4-3-3 if you want to.
Yeah, I think that's what he's basically saying.
I think if that's what you're saying, I'm cool with it. But like in coach speak, those are different things. They really are different things, and they function differently. So, I think you'll find Italian coaches who will say, yeah, no, a 4-3-3, a 4-3-3 is not a 4-2-3-1. You'll find many coaches who will battle you with that and say that is not true. Because when you change the setup and the formation, it changes the way you actually function and play. So if you go out and hand a note to your midfielder and say, we're switching from the 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3, they all know what that means, and it's going to change the way you play. That's why coaches hand out notes to players coming in the game saying we're changing formation, because it's going to change the way you function. So we can't go into a world where that's not true. Because if we do, we're back to Jimmy Conrad conversation 2012. We can't have that conversation anymore because Jimmy Conrad's already relented and told us, he came on our show, a year ago and said, yeah, I was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Formations do matter. And they do matter because they provide context for the way the team operates. Unless you got some weird 4-3-3 that operates like a 4-2-3-1, which you can do, you can figure that out, but it's complicated and it doesn't prioritize the emphasis for the game, which is to have a CAM operating on top of the two. And the two have a responsibility to cover the back four so the 10 can do what he needs to do, which is operate freely on the field and be creative and be the creative piece for the team. If you don't have that, you don't have Reyna on the field. No one else is going to be able to do that. So that's why we go back to the 4-3-3 when Tillman's too injured to come and join this team to be the replacement for Reyna. Because Tillman's the only one else that can do it, folks. And he's not going to do it as well as Reyna. But he is apt to be the best replacement we could possibly have right now for Reyna at the 10 spot. And we got to have that 10 spot, folks, because if we don't, we got no creativity happening. It's going to be Berhalter ball looking. It's going to be the horseshoe passing. And we'll go back to that again. If you want to watch a lot of that horseshoe passing, then we'll go back to Gregg Berhalter 4-3-3.
Hoorah.
And that's fun, right?
Yeah. All right.
All right, folks.
Only 2.5 hours in.
I mean, I can't believe I never envisioned this show being this long. I really didn't. So when you get a chance, sit down with your stepsister and tell her all about the importance of the CAMton and why that makes a difference for the United States men's national team and why Reyna is so important. Now, it's not because you want her to fall in love with Reyna, because you know you're in love with her and she's in love with you. And that's completely fine. And we're all supportive of you and your movements going forward. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, continue to, banter at us on Twitter, banter at Brett at Straight Red Card. And
Straight_red.
Right. Don't ignore me. All right. Other than that, we love you. And we'll be back on Monday. So until then, have a great night and a great evening. See you soon. That hurt.
I'm tuned in like crazy, and I'm pretending like I know what they're doing, and I'm
articulate and intelligent.
Gregg's a bitch. That's all.